Hello, everyone. Happy Monday. Hope you guys all had a good weekend. A couple orders of business before we get started. Today's stream, I will be reviewing custom cards. So I've mentioned it a couple times in the past, but I added a channel to the Discord for you guys to submit custom cards. And I'll be honest, I haven't taken a look at any of them. There's been a bunch of posts there, like just kind of scrolling through it quickly. Yeah, I see 30, 40 cards maybe. So got a lot to look through. And even during the stream, if anyone comes up with some funny custom cards you want to submit, I'll take a look at them. You know, even if you've never designed a custom card before, because I'll bring it up here. I've shown some people before. It's very, very simple to make a custom card. Probably way more simple than you think. So there's this site here. We open it up. This is it. So say you want to design a minion, you click here. If you want to design a spell, a weapon, etc. And it's literally as simple as saying, okay, I want it to cost 8. It's got 2 attack, 10 health. It's a rare, battle cry, blah, blah, whatever. You know, here's the name. That's pretty much it. And you can, you know, paste in whatever art you want. There's even a feature here to do like AI art, assuming you're not against that. All right, the AI is broken apparently. But yeah, so you can, like I said, super, super simple. So if you haven't submitted a card and you want to submit one or you want to come up with something, it doesn't have to be balanced. You know, if you want to create some stupid bullshit, go ahead and we can have fun with it. Because not all cards have to be serious. You know, I do the custom Hearthstone series every week. And while I do focus on serious cards for the videos, there's a lot of funny cards submitted to the Hearthstone subreddit as well. Maybe I'll have to like do a spin-off. Maybe one week I'll focus on funny cards because there is some funny ones sometimes. And like I said, I try to keep my video, you know, serious, like actual real card focused. But yeah, there are some funny ones sometimes. Maybe I'll have to switch it up and do a funny themed one like once a month or something like that. But how's everyone doing? Hey Menavad, hey Ayato, Nico bruh. Bro, I used to go to that site every day just to see the cool cards. Yeah, I really should look around because for my custom card videos, I use the custom Hearthstone subreddit, but I should use this site because from my understanding, you can just review cards that people submitted. I've never looked through here, so I don't know can you filter by the time frames or anything? Oh, filters. Oh yeah. I don't know how much people submit cards here versus the subreddit, but I should take a look here. Because I've said it before, right? Bro, this man's a Redditor. I'm leaving. I don't blame you, man. I don't blame you. But as I mentioned before, I really dig through the subreddit when I look. You know, some people maybe assume that I only look at the most popular cards on the subreddit, and it's not at all the case. When I do all my research for the custom Hearthstone videos, I'm looking all the way down to cards with like 10 upvotes. I look at nearly all, if not all of the cards submitted in the last week, and I choose the ones that are interesting to me. So there's been plenty of times I've picked cards that weren't popular on the subreddit, but I thought they were unique. I thought they were cool. So yeah, if you ever think about submitting cards or anything like that on the subreddit and think, you know, it'll only be picked if it's popular, that's not the case at all. So it's worth a shot. Also, Metavat sometimes chat. I sometimes chat with the guy who made the site. Nice, he's a nice dude. You know, it's a cool thing you can do here. What is a cool thing I can do here? Because I'll be honest, I forgot this existed. Like, let me look in the last week. How much? What do we got here? Oh, it's 2 pages worth. Yeah, I should, like I said, it's cool that there's ratings too. People rate them, it looks like. Oh, and there's comments. Yeah, man, I gotta look around with this more. Because I'm sure there's some overlap, right? I'm sure there's people who post their cards to this site and also the subreddit, but there's probably maybe people who don't, right? So there's cards only on the subreddit and only on here. Let me make a note. I will have to use this site more often for the cards. And I really like all like, oh, look at this, best cards. Oh, look at this. Best cards of the week. Look at that. Does my job, does the job for me. Yeah, I'll have to use this more often. And maybe we'll take a look through here later on in the stream today. Also type Zainra into the search bar. Do I have to clear my filters first, probably? Oh, look at it. It's Mr. Menevat. Let's see what this... Uh-oh. Uh-oh. The site doesn't want to cooperate. Did you break the site, Menevat? All right, I'm not going to click on it. We'll just view from the thumbnail. Handmaiden Zainra. 5 mana, 3/5, Legendary Priest. Battlecry, if you've cast 3 spells on friendly minions while holding this, recast them on this. That's a cool effect. Also, was that you showing me some feature of the site, or was that just you plugging your newest card? Hey, Void. Had a very busy week last week, so I haven't caught a stream for a while. Hey, better late than never, my friend. I was actually really busy this weekend myself. So, for example, my custom Hearthstone videos come out every Monday, but I haven't released the video today just because I was super busy this weekend house hunting, trying to, you know, get somewhere to live. First time buying a house, so it's been quite the experience. So the video hasn't come out today yet, but it will. I'm going to finish it after the stream today, so it'll go up, you know, probably 10 p.m. Eastern time, something like that. But yeah, busy weekend. And also, I guess, kind of speaking of that, I haven't talked about this until now because the week's kind of caught up with me. I lost track of time. But this will actually be the only stream this week because I will be going on a trip later this week for my dad's 60th birthday. So we, the whole family rented a cottage and we're going away from Wednesday to Sunday for his birthday. And we have a bunch of stuff planned. So unfortunately, I won't be streaming this Wednesday or Thursday. But then next week, I'll be back on Sunday evening, I believe. So next week things will pick up as normal. So unfortunately, this will be the only stream for the week, but I have a bunch of videos edited and planned, so I will have them set to upload throughout the course of the week. So the custom card video will go live after the stream at some point. Wednesday, I'll have a gameplay video go up. Thursday, I have a video talking about the changed art. You know, I talked about it live on stream last week, I believe. But basically, about 5 years ago in Hearthstone, they changed the art for a handful of cards for various reasons. And I have a video basically talking about that and going over the cards that were changed. And then I'll have another gameplay video going up on Saturday, I believe. So, like I said, won't be streaming this week, unfortunately, but I'll have videos going up every couple days, so you can keep an eye out for that. Also, Void had a whole load of people around to play some Clock Tower for my birthday, which was very fun. Clock Tower. I'm not sure what that is. Let's take a look. Is this some board game or? Oh, it's a video game. Wait, is this it? 1995 initial release? Clock Tower 3 2002. I feel like this is not what you're talking about. I could be wrong though. Bruss says Death Rattle. Your next Death Rattle will be a battle cry instead. That is a cool idea. So let me show you guys, because I'll give you a peek behind the curtain, because the video's not out. As I mentioned, the custom Hearthstone video for today is not out. But let me show you one of the cards I highlight in it, because it's such a simple card that I'm so surprised isn't in the game. Like, it actually blew my mind. Let me just bring it up here. I said to switch cameras. Yeah. So this guy, Magma Cum Laude, I believe it's pronounced, but it just says battle cry, trigger a friendly minion's battle cry. Like, so simple, you know. There's multiple effects like this for death rattles, right? There is like Yelling Yodeler, you know, trigger a death rattle twice. There's other cards that say trigger a death rattle. And I'm so surprised something like this, you know, isn't in the game. And yes, Metavat, I feel like the name would not make it into, even though it's not what you think, the name would not make it into Hearthstone. But yeah, I'm so surprised this effect is not in the game already. It's such a simple effect that, like I said, it's been explored with death rattles many, many times. Also, Void said Blood on the Clock Tower. It's a werewolf type game. Oh, those are always fun. I actually have I have Secret Hitler that I've owned for like a year now, and I haven't been able to play it once. And it's one of those like social deduction games. But the problem with Secret Hitler is I believe minimum it needs like 6 or 7 people. Let me look. I got it right above me. Oh, it's 5 minimum. I thought it was more for some reason. But yeah, I've meant to play this at some point, and I don't know. They haven't had the right time, unfortunately. Yes, Secret Hitler. You can see, I'm not lying. It's one of those social deduction games. So basically, if you don't know how like these social deduction games work, basically everyone in the game is assigned like a secret role. So in this game, you know, one player is secretly Hitler, some players are secretly like fascists, and everyone has different roles, and you're trying to basically figure out who's who. So I don't know if that's the kind of werewolf game that Void's talking about, but there's like actually I have more games like that too. Like this is another one. The Resistance. Basically, everyone is split up into either spies or resistance fighters, and all the spies know who each other are, but the resistance don't know who anyone is. And it's basically you rooting out the spies. And they're very interesting party games because it involves a lot of like arguing, you know. It's trying to figure out who's who and like tricking people. And yeah, so that's what Secret Hitler is as well. I just haven't got around to playing it for some reason. But yeah, Blood on the Clock Tower. I haven't heard of that one. Let me look. Oh, that's a cool theme. Oh, it looks cool. Yeah, if you have a good group of people, those types of games are really, really fun. Also, Leo, have a nice trip. Thank you. It's good to have some time out, such quality time with the family. Yeah, I'm excited. I kind of wish so I worked today and I work tomorrow, and then I'm off Wednesday to the rest of the week. I really wish I just took the whole week off. It sucks working right before a vacation. Also, Leo, do you plan to move in urban, metro region, or rather the countryside? So I live in the city currently, very much like in the middle of a city, and it's a medium-sized city, and we're looking for a house still just in the same city. I couldn't live like out in like the outskirts of a city or like the country. I can't imagine like driving an hour to like get anywhere. Or I don't know. I like the convenience of living in a city. Metavat just reached 10,000 channel points. I'll be honest, I always forget I have channel points because people don't really redeem stuff often. I should switch them up. I should add some new interesting rewards. Also, Bruh says the card reads like a Battlegrounds card. You're actually right. It very much reads like a Battlegrounds card, but it's a card I could see in the game. Like I said, it seems so simple and clean. Also, Void, I think the reason is battle cries are a lot more powerful than death rattles. That is true. I think an effect like that would be much more easily abused than a death rattle equivalent, 100%. So maybe that's why they haven't made it, because I kind of look at Bran, right? It would be similar to Bran, because Bran doubles a battle cry, that card lets you double a battle cry, but I feel like it'd be even more abusable than Bran. So yeah, maybe that's why it hasn't been added to the game. Maybe it'll just break the game. Also, Voy is going to say I've definitely played Secret Hitler with 5. Though that being said, you should be able to play Secret Hitler with just a deck of playing cards. I've never seen an actual box for it. Oh, interesting. Social deduction is my favorite genre of party games. Yeah, like I said, if you have like a good group of people to play it with, because I've played some of those games with some groups, and it's kind of like, people don't get into it, or people don't try or know how to trick people, and it's just not as interesting. But I've played it with certain groups of people, and it's a lot of fun. Also, Leo, you forgot the update. It's Secret Putin now. That's funny. Actually, I was talking about that recently with some people. How isn't it so funny that like Moscow mules, right? I don't know about other countries. I don't know about other people, right? But in North America, a Moscow mule is a very common drink. I know I have a lot of viewers from Europe and other parts of the world. Are Moscow mules common there as well, or is it just like a North American thing? But the reason I bring it up is more and more I see restaurants and places not referring to them as Moscow mules. Like Moscow is like a faux pas now. Like, they've like eliminated that from the name. Like more and more I see them just labeled as mules on menus, which is so funny to me. Also, Menevat, I imagine it's way different in Canada, but I've lived in villages my whole life, and I'd like to keep it that way. Cities are always close. Yeah, I'm sure city life probably is very different between North America and Europe. I would imagine there's probably a lot of big differences, but I don't know. Like me personally, I would love to live in Toronto. Toronto is the biggest city in Canada. I believe it's the second or third biggest city in all of North America. It's like 12 to 15 million people or something. If you count like the surrounding, Greater Toronto area. Oh, I was way off. I would say 10 to 15. Okay, 6 million apparently. But yeah, I would love to live in Toronto. I went to school there for a little bit actually, and I loved it. So yeah, I would very much love to live in a big city. Countryside, not so much. Void, it's a shame more cities don't have good public transport. Yeah, that is true. My city is definitely lacking. Toronto, Toronto I thought was fine. But I think that's because Toronto sets like a bad standard. Like, I think Toronto public transportation was totally fine, but then I've seen some videos comparing Toronto public transportation to major cities in like Europe or Asia, and it's like night and day. Like, Toronto is shit compared to some of those cities. But as far as Canada goes, like, it's pretty good. Also, Leo, I moved from a direct city center to the suburbs 1 month ago. Nice. It's very rural here, very country-ish. Had deers and foxes here regularly and fought with a marten/mink last week. Yeah, there would be cool aspects to living on the countryside, but I think like the pros of city life to me far outweigh the pros of like more countryside life. But I can see the appeal for sure. Also, Void says it's relatively not your most common cocktail, but it's around a decent amount. Haven't seen that, though. Okay, interesting, because I feel like, at least in Canada, you could go to pretty much like any bar that has cocktails, and they'll have Moscow mules on the menu. Like, they're very, very popular here. Although, like I said, they're very much called mules now. Also, context, it wouldn't be that powerful because of lack of targeting. You are right, but I feel like there would still be ways to abuse it, though. Because who said it? Void, I think, or Leo, that, generally battle cries are much stronger than death rattles. So even though you would lose the targeting aspect, there's 100% some battle cries that like it wouldn't even matter, right? You could still abuse it and it would still be very, very strong. Also, Bruh agrees the Moscow Mule is delicious, but my thing is Negroni. I remember us talking about those. I'll have to try one time because I've never had one. I'm very hit or miss on Moscow Mules, though, because I've had some really good ones and I've had some really bad ones. To me, it all boils down to the ginger beer. You know, for anyone not familiar with the drink, actually, what? Yeah, so it's vodka, ginger beer, and lime. Oh, mint and lime. But I don't know, I've had some Moscow mules where the ratio is really off and there's too much ginger beer and it just ruins it for me. But if the ratio is good and it's mixed good, it's pretty good. Also, Void, I've lived in the suburbs of London my whole life, and I can't imagine wanting to live in a big city proper or in an area without good public transport. It's not for everyone, right? I see the appeal of both sides. I can't imagine how painful having to drive everywhere in a big city is. Although that's the thing, right? If you live in a really big city with good public transportation, you don't need to drive that often. Like if I lived in Toronto, right, I would just take the subway to a lot of places if possible. Obviously, there's times you need a car or you need to drive, but if you're just going to like a mall or a restaurant, I probably would just take the subway. Leo says 10 to 15 is, sorry, Cairo or Mexico City? Is it Cairo in Egypt? Or am I not understanding what you're saying? Also, even going between big cities in the UK makes you miss London public transport. Astalor. Yeah, Astalor is a good example. But like I said, so with the custom cards today, I haven't looked at the subreddit, or not the subreddit, I haven't looked at the Discord at all. I've purposely ignored the channel because I want to see all these cards for the first time. So I think we'll just go down the list from the start. Let me clean up some of these tabs. So first off, we got Aya. I'm guessing that's Ayato in Twitch chat. Got some hunter cards here. So let me see. How can I do this? Nope. That's not working. Trying to think how I can do this without bringing Discord on the screen. Oh, okay. Here, let me open up a couple of these. All right, they submitted 3 hunter cards here. Yep, so 3 hunter cards. So we got Azeranosaurus. I am gonna butcher some of these names today. It's gonna be so bad. You guys should see like the raw recording of when I do custom Hearthstone sometimes. Some of the cards, I feel like I have to do so many takes to get the name right. So you guys get to see it live here, so please forgive me. But 7 mana, 5/6 hunter minion, Battle's Cry, excavate a treasure. It summons that many random beasts on the rarity. So I'm guessing this means you excavate, and if it's a common treasure, you summon 1 random beast. If it's a rare, you summon 2, legendary, you summon 4. I'm guessing that's what it means. And right off the bat, like, I love excavate, right? I've talked about it during the keyword tier list, but excavate is one of my favorite keywords to come out in a long time now. Also, Ayato confirms, yep, that's how it works. So yeah, because there's no excavate for hunter, right? I do like when they do mechanics sometimes that they don't do for every single class, you know, and it sucks if you don't play one of the classes that's missed, but then that class will probably get something else in a later expansion. Like, it all balances out, right? But I really would like if they revisited these mechanics down the line and filled in the gaps. You know, for example, Galakron, right? Galakron was on what, 4 or 5 classes? Cannot remember. So we had priest, rogue, shaman, war. Okay, it's on 5. So it, like, for example, Galakron, right? It'd be really cool for them to go back and then do Galakron cards for the remaining classes. Or it'd be really cool for them to go back and do excavate, but for the remaining classes. Like, I really wish they would do that. I don't know why they don't. Brud doesn't like excavate. It's evil in RNG. I agree and I disagree. I agree that it is RNG, right? And I don't think more RNG is good for the game, but it's also controlled RNG. You know, for each rarity, there's only, what, 5? 6 outcomes? Let me look. I always forget. 6. Yeah, so yes, it is RNG, but it's very like compartmentalized RPG or RNG, where there's only 6 options, right? So, you know, it's there's a very big difference between like Prison of Yogg-Saron and Excavate to me. Prison of Yogg-Saron is just like madness, you know, trolled in RNG. But I think Excavate is like okay RNG to me. Also, Void in London, you can get basically anywhere you need to on the tube. On the tube, I like that. Also, oh, I see what you mean, Leo. 10 to 15 is big. You're talking 10 to 15 million population. Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know why. I thought that the Toronto area was more people. Interesting. But yeah, so Void, I think the design's cool. The wording needs some work. And it also feels very high variance to summon just a random beast. Although, for what it's worth, Hunter has a lot of effects that summon random beasts. So I feel like that it's kind of in theme, right? Like, we got Jeweled Macaw, random beast. Web Spinner, random beast. Ball of Spiders. Got Infest. Got Saddle Up. Like, Hunter has had cards that have that effect in the past, right? So I feel like thematically it kind of makes sense. Ayato says Excavate is just fun. I agree. It's like A+ mechanic, 100%. Leo, I think it's a bit too strong when on Excavate 4. Maybe better with Summon Random Beast with which I cannot talk. Maybe it would be better with Summon Random Beast that costs 3 or less. That would actually fit the Hunter theme as well, right? Because, say, Saddle Up is 3 or less. I believe they have another one that has something to do with beasts that cost 3 or less. Maybe I'm wrong. Hunter Week has clouded my brain, guys. But yeah, if Hunter did get an Excavate effect, this feels like a Hunter card for sure. Instead of summoning anything, it should evolve. Or instead of evolve, like adapt. What if it was like excavate a treasure and then adapt based on which rarity it is? So if it's the first excavate, you excavate and adapt once. If it's the 4th excavate, you excavate and adapt 4 times. That'd be cool. That probably makes the most sense for Hunter as well, right? It's very similar to... I can't remember the names of cards today. It's very similar to this guy, which lets you adapt twice. Oh, you meant adapt. Okay. Like this 6 mana 5/6 with adapt twice. I feel like this could have a similar effect with the same cost and stats. Maybe even be dropped down to 6 with that effect. Because this card's so old, right? This card has been power crept to insanity. Also, context, it was thematic, Galakron for evil classes, Twin Spell for good classes. I forgot about that. I always forget that there's good classes and bad classes. And that they actually fit together in some ways. I do always forget that, so you are right in that regard. Also, I'd make it drop the cost to 5 and make it so it summons 1 to 2 cost beasts. Yeah, I do agree. If we switch this to where it only summons beasts that cost 3 or less, the cost could be lowered for sure. Also, are these all Excavate cards? Oh, cool. So this one is Excavate, resummon your last Battlecry beast. This one's kind of weird because you wouldn't get the Battlecry again, right? Unless, like, do you mean you summon like it and trigger the Battlecry? Because that would be a cool card. You know, summon your last Battlecry minion and trigger its Battlecry, something like that. Okay, Yato says, my idea with this one is that it would summon then trigger the Battlecry. Okay, that's cool. We've never had an effect like that in the game, I don't think. Void says Excavate may genuinely be one of my favorite mechanics they've ever made. Yeah, let me look up my tier list for keywords. What did I rate Excavate? I rated Excavate an A tier. I feel like Excavate has really grown on me since I've done that tier list, like even more. Obviously, during the tier list, I talked highly. Like here, I can switch it for you guys. During the tier list, I talked highly about Excavate. I gave it an A, but I feel like it's just grown on me, like even more over time. Where if I was to do this again, I feel like I would raise Excavate to S tier. I had Forge, Invoke, Titan, and Tradable here. Yeah, I think Excavate would go up to S tier if I did this again. Also, bro, I hate all RNG and I wish for Purification expansion where they don't print a single RNG card generation. Yeah, I feel you there. I've talked about it before, right? That I think the adoption of Discover as a keyword, as an evergreen keyword, is like the downfall of Hearthstone. I think if they just removed Discover from Hearthstone, it would be such a huge improvement. Like that, if I had like a magic lamp and I could wish for one thing to happen to Hearthstone, it'd be to remove Discover. I think it's like the best and worst thing they've ever added to the game. Also, Void, pretty much all of those add a random beast to your hand. I think to summon it needs a cost limitation. Oh, I did forget that. That usually if the Hunter card summons a random beast to the board, it has the cost limitation. And if it doesn't, it's usually going to your hand. That's right. Hunter isn't exactly a battle cry abuser. So yeah, I could see some kind of effect like this, right? Resummon a battle cry minion and trigger its battle cry. Steve says deleting Discover would delete Rogue, so it's a double win. All right, what do we got here? So Legendary, 6 mana, 5/5. If you've excavated twice, summon all animal companions. This seems like giga busted. This seems so strong. But then at the same time, I feel like if you've excavated twice, summon a random animal companion, I think would that be too weak? Like this is literally, what's the card called? Hey Emic, how's it going? Today I am reviewing custom cards submitted by viewers. So looking at some Hunter Excavate cards right now. But yeah, this is basically a cheaper Call of the Wild on a body. Like this card seems insane. Imix, where should I upload them? You could put them on the Discord if you want. I set up a separate channel on the Discord for custom cards if you want. Or if you just have them uploaded to like an album and you want to post the URL, that works too. Also, bro, I love Discover, but I dislike discovering from outside of the deck. Oh, I see what you mean. I guess, yeah. I think, like, there should be tutors in the game, right? There should be ways to discover cards from the deck. But yeah, just discovering out of thin air, that is a good difference to point out for sure. Also, Void, slightly off topic, but I'm doing a shiny run right now. Any bets as to whether I'll find it before the end of the stream? Well, like I said, this is my only stream this week, so I will funnel in all the luck into the stream for you. I haven't played a Pokemon game in a while. I think the last one I played was X and Y. I think. I don't even know how many have come out since then, but I think that was the last one I played. Steve says legendary cards shouldn't be discoverable at all. It is weird that they've put some limitations on discovering cards, right? I think there's only 2 examples. I think there's only 2 restrictions on discovering to my knowledge. Actually, no, sorry, there's 3 restrictions on discovering to my knowledge. One is you can't discover the card that caused the discover. So you can't just like loop, because that used to be possible. That was possible. I remember priests always used to do it with, oh, what's the card called? It's the 1 mana card. Where is it? It's like heal 3 and discover a card. Something like that. Renew. Yeah, so Renew is the card that made them make that change because basically you could cast Renew on yourself, discover Renew, cast Renew on yourself. Like you could just keep looping it, right? So they made the change that discover effects can't discover the card that generated it. That's one. Two is you can't discover triple rune Death Knight cards. You know, that again was possible when Death Knight came out, but then they didn't like the fact that people would discover like 3, 4, 5 vampiric bloods in a game. So they made that restriction. So that's the two. And the third is there's certain cards that are just not on the discover table because they think it would be too powerful, right? So an example, there's two examples in standard right now, at least two to my knowledge. One of them is Necrotic Explosion. You just can't discover this in any way. Another one is Projection Orb. You just can't discover Projection Orb either. And I think those are the other only two. Oh, you also can't discover Titans and Colossals. I forgot about that. So, like I said, it is weird that Discover has all these like hidden rules. You know, there's like certain cards you can't. I feel like it's just got wishy-washy over time. That there's all these hidden Discover rules. Like, think of it from like a new player experience, right? To my knowledge, there's nothing in the game that tells you can't discover this card. You know, there's nothing in the game that tells you can't discover Vampiric Blood. And like I said, I think from like a new player experience or just like a general like UI perspective, it's just, I don't know, it's weird. Also, Imix says only stream. Yes, so this Wednesday, I'm going on a trip with my family for my dad's 60th birthday. So we rented a big cottage and the family's all going away from Wednesday to Sunday. So we got all kinds of stuff there planned. So unfortunately, there won't be any streams on Wednesday or Thursday this week. But I have videos edited and all planned out to be uploaded throughout the week. So there'll still be some YouTube stuff to tide you guys over. But unfortunately, yeah, this will be the only stream today. Void CNE counts as a triple rune card. Is that the logic that they used? Is it just any triple rune card you can't discover? I thought it was only triple rune cards of the same value. Like triple blood, triple frost. Is there any, actually, let me look. Is there any other triple rune cards that have different values? I can't remember. I think they're used to, but they changed, they switched up all the rune stuff after rotation, right? It's all triple rune. I didn't realize that was the reason. I thought it was only triple rune cards that had all the same rune. But is there even any other cards that fall? Like Grave Strength is all Unholy, all Frost. I think those are the only cards. All Frost, Unholy. Okay. So, yeah, so the only card, so outside of CNE, the only triple rune cards all have one rune. So maybe that was why I thought it was that way. Also, ZeniX is not written anywhere. Yeah, exactly. You also can't discover cards outside your class, which is another kind of like inconsistent thing, right? Because there is some cards that let you discover things from outside your class. And yeah, I don't know. Sometimes, like I said, the rules are wishy-washy. Menavat, it's not even spaghetti code, it's spaghetti rule set at this point. I agree. I always wish that there was some kind of like written rule book somewhere that would explain the ways different situations resolve. Because, you know, I'm sure I'm not the only one here, right? That there's sometimes situations in the game where, you know, there's like secrets and multiple death rattles and like different effects going on, and it's not always clear what like order things resolve in. Because I've talked about it before, right? But like Magic the Gathering, yes, the cards are very wordy, but it's very clear like how cards work, what order they happen in. Like there's no confusion there. And Hearthstone, things happen sometimes, and it blows my mind. It makes no sense to me. Also, Void, I'm going to hard disagree on that. RNG is the best thing about Hearthstone and is what sets it apart from the other card games because of Hearthstone being digital only. Without RNG, you may as well play Magic or some shit. You've lost the soul of what Hearthstone is. So I understand that perspective 100%. And I do agree to an extent that RNG is part of what makes Hearthstone, right? But I think my point was it just kind of feels like, because see, even before Discover, right? From literally OG Hearthstone, there's always been RNG effects. Like for anyone who's played since the beginning, right? Mad Bomber. Mad Bomber was literally played in base Hearthstone. And that is, there's been games that have been decided by a turn 2 Mad Bomber, or there's been games that have been won by a Mad Bomber. So RNG has always existed in Hearthstone, and it always will be a part of the game. But I feel like it's just gone to the point where RNG just dictates the entire game. It's not like, oh, Hearthstone has some little RNG effects here and there. It's literally like Hearthstone is RNG. So I guess that's my complaint. I'm fine with some RNG, but not when it feels like so many games are decided because of it. Or how game warping some of the RNG effects are. Like I said, like Prison, right? Prison of Yogg-Saron. Prison of Yogg-Saron can win you or lose you the game. Like the high and low rolls on some cards like that are just insane. Leo, I love Discover and Steel decks. My Priest and Rogue decks usually drive opponents nuts. Bounce Around is also undiscoverable. Really? I didn't know that. Is there a reason for that? Because Shadow Step's discoverable, right? Axel says play MTG Arena, no RNG. And I'll be honest, that is one of the reasons I do like Magic, because, I believe it was Void also mentioned if you don't want RNG, go play Magic. And it is true. Magic has very little RNG effects, right? And yeah. Also, yeah, Bounce Around's not discoverable. It's because a school teacher back in the days. Oh, you just create an infinite loop. That's interesting. But like I said, is Shadow Step not discoverable? Or Breakdance? Leo, they changed it because of this and Dragon Queen Alexstrasza back in the day. Also, context, when you discover from outside the class, it's explicitly stated in the card. I used to think that Mind Rogue was bugged the entire time. Also, Bruh says, RNG is simply not fun. What's the point of building decks if you don't get to control what happens? It's just frustrating to lose to RNG, and to win with it is unrewarding. It feels like cheating. Oh, Axel Limbic says they are. Okay. So you can't discover. So is it discovering or randomly generating or both for Bounce Around, Shadow Step, and Breakdance? I totally missed that one. I did not even realize. So that's what I'm talking about, right? There's nowhere to just see these rules. There should be somewhere in the game that says, hey, you can't discover these cards. Axel says both. Okay. Yeah, there needs to be a rule book. Who wants to volunteer? I saw someone said they can write the rule book. Also, Menavat, it's a side effect of being a digital card game. You have to be very precise in a physical game because a player interprets interactions as opposed to a computer. You are right, for sure. Also, Axel, yeah, Axel, you can write the rule book. Because it needs one. Hugh says, bruh, you wouldn't like gambling. Also, Imic, I think you misunderstood. You can discover and generate Shadow Step and Breakdance, but you can't generate Bounce Around in any way. Oh, okay. I thought it was all bounce effects. Yeah, I did get that wrong. Also, one thing because Brett touched on this, right? He said, what's the point of building decks if you don't get to control what happens? And I've said this before, but one thing I really miss about old Hearthstone is the fact that decks had finite amounts of resources. Because say I was playing Control Warrior back in the day, right? Or you're playing against a Control Warrior. Say you're playing against a Control deck. They have 2 Shield Slams. They have 2 Executes. They have a Brawl or 2. And that's possibly it, for the removal, right? So you have to keep in mind to play around those cards. You try to bait out removal. You have to. It's like a game of chess, right? But nowadays, your opponent has 10 shield slams. They discover 13 sanitizes. Like, it just never ends. So that act of playing around finite resources, which I thought was a great aspect of the game. And I think it's a great aspect of card games in general. Like, that's just gone. It's just out the window because everything has Discover tagged on. Maybe that's part of my complaint too, is so many things nowadays have Discover tagged on, right? If there was just like a couple cards in your deck that had Discover, sure. But I feel like every card nowadays either has card draw or Discover or generation tagged on. I don't know. I not to sound like old man boomer Hearthstone over here, but like I said, I miss the more like strategic gameplay, I think, in that regard. Also, bro, I'll just say this. If you could generate priest and mage cards in poker, I wouldn't play poker. Immic, there's not that many. 11 in the new set. I'm not saying you're wrong. Okay, 11 in the new set, 15 in the last set. Although I don't know if this changes the amount you're mentioning, but I'm not just talking about Discover effects, but also like random generation effects. So many cards that just add random cards to your hand. I don't know. Maybe I have rose tinted glasses. Maybe I'm remembering the early years wrong. Also, Void, the Noggling would only bounce itself with Shadow Step or Dance. With Bounce Around, you could bounce your whole board and play it repeatedly. Yeah, it makes sense. The whole poker table is going to flip when I reveal my fourth generated ice block. Void, I feel like the problem isn't generation. It's the fact that generation has no cost anymore. That combined with the fact that pretty much every class has great draws run of... I can't talk. That plus pretty much every class has great draw. It's hard to run out of stuff. For sure, I've talked about it before, right? That aggro decks before, you would wipe the board once or possibly twice, and they were just out of steam. But nowadays, aggro decks can just keep refilling the board. I watched a bit of the... what's the tournament that went on this weekend? I don't think it's World Championship or Masters or whatever was going on this weekend. I watched some games, and there was some games where I was so sure one person lost, and they were able to just keep generating value and crawl back into the game, and it blew my mind. Masters Tour, okay. Yeah, there were some games I was so sure someone lost, and they managed to come back, and it's crazy. Also, hey, Red, just to give a different perspective, this RNG discourse doesn't make much sense at all. We've talked about how it's frustrating because it's super prevalent and strong, but all strong standard and wild decks at the moment don't generate pretty much anything out of thin air. If you look at standard tier 1 decks at the moment, Rainbow Shaman, Dragon Druid, and Sanity Warlock, they have pretty much zero unpredictability. I would say yes and no. I would say one, like, glaring card that kind of goes against what you're saying is Tide Pool Pupil. And again, this isn't necessarily a Discover effect because, like, what the outcome's going to be, right? But it ties into just the card generation effects I'm talking about. How I think there's just too many ways to just keep generating resources out of thin air. Immic says this card will 100% get nerfed. I called it from like the moment this card was announced that I thought it'd be nerfed. I said this card was insane from the start, and I am so glad that it's exploding in popularity because it's just proving I was right. I saw this card played so much over the weekend at the Masters Tour, and yeah. That card is strong, but it's not really RNG. I agree. I agree. It's not RNG, but it's just the fact that it's a third or fourth copy of your strongest card in the deck. And it's just extra generation, right? So my idea to change it... So there's so many ways to nerf this card and just destroy it, right? And I'm worried that's what Blizzard's going to do. To me, the way I would nerf this card without totally destroying it is make it where instead of discovering one of the 3 spells you cast to activate it, I think it should say, if you've cast 3 spells while holding this, discover a spell you cast this game. So essentially rewind. That would essentially turn it into rewind on a body, which I think is fair. I think that's still good, right? There's a good chance that it would still be the exact same card a lot of times, but it's not as what's the word? As like reliable, right? Axel says it should be auto generation. So I'm guessing you mean that it would say. I'm guessing you mean it says if you cast 3 spells while holding this, add one of them to your hand. But which that as well. That is, I think, a fair nerf as well. Also, Leo, I understand you, but you always knowing what they playing up front would make the game pretty stale. I could see that perspective, but like at least me and like the types of games I like to play, I like the thinky games, right? I like the games that feel like a game of chess where you're trying to like work around each other and you're trying to like set up like a checkmate. Like I love those kinds of games, but I can see not feeling the same way. Bruh, we're 7 almond tools down the line and they nerfed hydration station. Kill me. Bruh is still not happy with that hydration station nerf, that's for sure. Immic, do you remember Shadow of Demise? That was basically it, but on a body and as a common. Yeah, Shadow of Demise, that's the rogue one, right? That just transformed into the last card you played? Yeah. Yeah, and this card literally was in every single rogue deck until it rotated. I don't know about Wild, if it's still played in Wild or not, but this is one of those like auto-include cards, right? Because as you said, right, it's basically an extra copy of your best card. And that's, yeah, Tide Pool Pupil you could put 2 of in your deck. And you can Shadow Step and bounce it. Axel Rainbow DK has Discover Weapon. Also Red, pretty much the only RNG that's present in Standard at the moment is Trog throwing random rocks and Marin's Treasures. Menavat, what if they just gave you the first spell you've cast while holding it? Like I said, I think there's a lot of ways they can nerf Tide Pool with keeping it playable still. Because I think the card, it's a cool effect. The card library broke on me. Oh, missed it. Like, it's a cool effect. It's a cool card. I just think it's too consistent. I think it should... who mentioned it? Was it Axel, I think, who said it should randomly pick one of the cards? I think either that or my suggestion of just any previous spell. But like knowing Blizzard, I wouldn't be surprised if they just nerf this card to 2 mana. Like if they just leave it the way it is and nerf it to 2 mana. That's the Blizzard way. Axel MTG has Discover cards now. Conjure one of 2 cards. You're not wrong. So Magic does have Discover effects now, but they're only in the digital version of the game. So if you go on Magic Arena, there's a mode called Alchemy, and there's cards there that are exclusive to digital. So actually, yeah, if you say you like Hearthstone, right? You like the RNG aspect of Hearthstone, but you like Magic and wish that was in Magic, that's perfect for you. Alchemy is what you're looking for. It's literally Magic with Discover. But I hate that shit. Like I said, Magic is not one of those games to me. So I cannot stand Alchemy. But I understand there's some people who like it. Immic, Tide Pool is so good because it can be duplicated with Sonya as well. Yeah, Sonya is a good card as well. Surprise, surprise. Also, Hugh, I'm a pretty new player, but I did play Classic mode back when that was a thing. The old Hearthstone was very satisfying to play. Board state actually mattered. Value trades and logic decided the game. Yeah, like I said, I don't know if I have rose-tinted glasses or not, but I do miss those times. Also, Bra is still balding over the hydration station nerf. Give Tidepool the Whelp treatment. Make it a 3-mana 3/2 and it'll be fine. Please nerf AFK. I want the dust. Anyone who opened AFK, I am so sorry for you. So bad. Shadow Demise is played in the best decks and well. Okay, so Shadow is still played a lot because yeah, I remember in Standard, literally every single rogue deck, that was like the first card you put in your deck. Just like Aquatic Form. Aquatic Form, like every single Druid deck. You know, I'm assuming in Standard or in Wild it's the same. Where like every single Druid deck just started with Aquatic Form, and every single Rogue deck just started with Shadow of Demise. Such good cards. Like the lesson to be learned here is 0-cost cards and additional copies of cards. They're pretty good. Shadow is still frequently played in Wild. I think Pupil should just discover a spell from your deck. Or discover a random spell with the cost of one of the 3 spells played. I think in keeping the original nature of the card, like those are good ideas, but I think that would fundamentally change the card, right? I think there's ways to nerf this card, but still keeping like the soul of the card intact. And that's the way they should go, I think. But yeah, kind of went on the tangent there, but Hunter or Excavate for Hunter, that's cool. Like I said, the random beast summoning is a very much a Hunter effect. I don't know so much about this card. I think it's a cool idea, but I don't know if it'd necessarily be a Hunter card or, you know, specify. Yeah, I don't know. I'm iffy on this one. And this card, I think, is just insane. This card is busted, I think. I think it should instead read summon a random animal companion and maybe drop it down to 5. But summoning all of them just seems insane. Also, Bruss says Pupil will be fine at 3. No need to overthink it. Like I said, knowing Blizzard, they'll just do a mana nerf, right? So we'll have to see. Also, Hue, Aquatic Form, and Moonlight Guidance are those cards that you'll always play in a Druid deck no matter what. Aquatic Form is always played. Yeah, literally, like, Druid decks just have 28 cards from now on because Aquatic Form exists. But yeah, Yato, like I said, compare this card to Call of the Wild. Oh, I got it. Yeah, compare this card to Call of the Wild, right? Which isn't an amazing card by any means, but you reduce it by 2 mana and give it a 5/5 body. It seems so strong. Void looks at this and thought this seems weak. Really? Like how? What are the stats on this? So we got 4, so 2, 15. I'm trying to math here. So at 15 attack. Oh, same. So it's essentially what a 6 mana 15/15. Actually, it would be if you count the Leok buff, it'd be what 19/15 with a 5 damage charge as well. Like, in terms of stats, this card seems insane. Am I wrong? Call me out if I'm wrong, guys. Don't be afraid to tell me I'm wrong. Void says, like in modern Hearthstone, 6 mana to dump a board as a legendary payoff to excavate is just bad. I feel like compared to the other cards that say if you've excavated twice, this seems so much stronger. Like, well, let's look at the other cards. The other excavate payoff cards. So this one, if you've excavated twice, your next card this turn costs 7 less. I don't think I've ever seen this card played. The mage one, deal 1 damage to, for each card in hand. Okay. This one, gain 2 bonus effects. Destroy an enemy minion. This one's really good. Summon all the 3/3 rushes. What else do we got? The Brawl one, good. Like, I'd say they, that wasn't a payoff. Which one wasn't a payoff? Oh, it was not a payoff. Sorry, I'm blind. Yes, this one doesn't count. Oh, Finley, very, very good. So yeah, I would say the excavate payoffs range from like bad to pretty good. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. I just think this is crazy, the amount of stats. Like, it's kind of comparable to Gary, right? And this was a good card. This card was played. Not so much recently, but it was played at one point. I don't know. Maybe I'm just still a stupid Hunter player and I don't know what I'm talking about. Also, hey, Pod, I'm going to bed, but enjoy the celebration. The hired cottage with your cottage. Oh, I didn't even think about that. Yes, I am going. Cottage, unfortunately, is not coming to the cottage. But yeah, I didn't even think about that. Leo, in today's Hearthstone, not ultra strong, but very far from weak. Drilling Company is good enough, but I wouldn't see play without a good treasure. It costs 6 mana. Also, how is Monkey helping a drilling company? Also, Imic, based on the art, it should not be a beast either. Oh, that's true. It's an orc. Actually, that's a good point, Ayato. Yeah, I probably the beast tag could remove. I don't know if it'd be too good since I don't want the cards to come off as too bad or too good. I don't know. It seems I'm in the minority here. I'm just crazy, I think, because everyone is saying that this card sucks, and I think this card is insane. So I will concede, guys. I don't know what I'm talking about, apparently. I'm outnumbered here. Mage 1 is 2 secrets. Did I get that one wrong too? Oh, you guys are right. I don't know what I was thinking. But yeah, Mage is the 2 secrets for the payoff. Hey, Emoticon, how's it going? Hugh says it dies to Hemet. It's unplayable. Void, every time I've seen people run Excavate Warlock, they've had to cut Gary for being too slow. Like I said, I concede, guys. I concede. I won't defend it anymore. But yeah, so that is Ayato's cards. Menavat posted, it looks like a monk overview. Or like a monk set. Let's take a look. Oh, why is this stuff not working? Let's try this. Are these monk cards for every set? Oh, it's just one card? My dude, you put some work into this. All right, I think what I'll do is I will save the expansions because this could be a whole stream in itself. Let's take a look at the class you came up with and maybe like the basic and the classic set. So this is a monk set that Menavat came up with, which if anyone's not familiar, Menavat has popped up in a bunch of my custom Hearthstone videos. They post cards on the custom subreddit all the time. So let's take a look here. So monk class. So custom keyword is meditation. At the end of your turn, if this minion could attack but didn't do something. That's a cool idea. I like it. So the hero power is 2 mana, give a minion 1/1. Which actually, that is like, I feel like, maybe I'm just stupid, right? But I feel like when I try to think of a new unique idea for a hero power, I can't think of a whole lot. But we don't have a buffing one. So the buffing one is smart. That makes sense. Hey, Pause, how's it going? I'm reviewing custom Hearthstone cards from viewers today. Looking at a monk set right now. Also, Menavat, that would take way too long. It's not every set, but up to Barons, it's still a lot. So meditation is basically the Paladin Drake, which draws 2 if it didn't attack. I'm assuming so. Actually, no, sorry. So the Paladin card will attack it'll affect it the turn it's played, right? This one says if the minion could attack but didn't. So this wouldn't trigger on like the first turn. But the Paladin minion does trigger on the first turn. Because it just says if it didn't attack, not if it could attack. So similar. Emoticon, it doesn't suck. Not sure if it's insane at current power level, but it's definitely good. People are just biased because Hunter's in a dip right now. Also, Pause says, I think the third expansion will be either Monk or a crossover like Overwatch. I talked about that recently. I talked about how people would feel if Hearthstone did crossover sets. Like, if Hearthstone did a StarCraft set, I would have to take out, like, a loan. I would lose my mind. StarCraft is the biggest Blizzard IP, like, I've been a fan of. I've played StarCraft since I was a kid, and it was, like, I played Warcraft growing up as well, but StarCraft was the Blizzard game I played growing up. And, man, if there was a StarCraft set, I would lose my mind. But anyways, yeah, so their custom keyword is meditation. If it could attack and didn't do something, I think it's a really cool idea. The hero power is a buff, which is very unique. And it says class identity. Monks are slow, but the waiting pays off in the end because they keep getting stronger as time goes on. Their minions are just as patient in order to unleash their full potential. Monks themselves aren't afraid to get physical, so they can often drink tasty beverages to recover from combat. Strengths are minion buffs, healing, big minions, hero attacks, destroying small minions, limitations, destroying big minions, weaknesses, card draw, face damage. All right, so that's the basically the buffing hero power and the custom keyword. So then it looks like there's a basic set and a custom or a classic set. All right, another round, 0 mana spell, restore 1 health to all friendly characters. That seems really weak. When were these made? 4 years ago. Okay, we'll keep that in mind. We'll keep that in mind. Pandaren statue, 1 mana, 2/2, can't attack, taunt. I read that weird. I feel like comparing this 1-drop to like current 1-drops, it shows like the power creep, right? This would have been really good 4 years ago, and I feel like it's not that special now. But the can't attack, I kind of wish they would use the can't attack keyword more often, because I think there's some cool stuff they can do with that. Menavat, I tried to stay true to the power level at the time the original sets came out. Oh, okay. And for what it's worth, like I said, these cards came out, you made these 4 years ago. The power level of the game has definitely increased over the last 4 years for sure. Also, context buffing one kind of sucks because you need a minion on board. Usually you hero power when you don't have something else to do. That's true, actually, right? And so an idea I just thought of, right, was imagine the hero power said give a minion +1/+1 or summon a 1/1. But then it would just be a better paladin hero power, right? So that seems too strong. But I see your point for sure. Hugh says charge meditation is OP, please nerf. Medavet, this is definitely a basic power level set. Also, Medavet, you can at least take a look at Witchwood. I tackled meditation there pretty nicely, I think. Okay, I'll open that as well. So we'll take a look at the basic, classic, and the Witchwood set. Pause and Inmic. Did you guys go to school together or something? All right, we got Brewmaster Staff. 1 mana, 2/2, can only attack minions. Okay. Tiger Palm. Destroy a minion that costs 2 or less. This reads like a magic card. Hearthstone doesn't have any effects like this, right? It's funny because effects like this are so common in Magic. There's always cards that say, you know, they target things that cost 2 or less, 3 or less, or like whatever, right? I like that though. Am I wrong? Is there anything like this in Hearthstone that I'm forgetting? Because I like it. If so, if not. Also, Generous Brewmaster, 1 mana, 1/2, add another round to your hand. So that's the healing spell over here. Fortifying Brew, give a minion +5 health. Training Partner, 2 mana, 1/3. After you target this minion with your hero power, restore 4 health to your hero. That's cool. Blackout Strike, 4 mana spell, destroy a minion. It deals its attack damage to your hero. Okay. It's like a reverse Death Strike or a Death Roll. It's the first thing I thought of. Yeah, I like this a lot. I'm so surprised I haven't seen this. I've been doing my custom card videos for 3 months now, and I've never seen something like this, to my knowledge. I like it a lot. Breath of Fire, 4 mana spell, deal 3 damage to a minion and 2 damage to the minions next to it. I love positioning mattering cards. People earlier talked about how RNG, RNG is very much a part of Hearthstone, and because Hearthstone is a digital card game, they should embrace RNG, and I do agree to an extent. And I think another thing they should really embrace is the positioning mattering effects. The cleave keyword, I think, is great. There's only been a handful of cards that actually depend on the positioning on the board, but I wish they would expand on that. I think they're just worried that the average Hearthstone player wouldn't think about it. The average Hearthstone player is just sitting on the toilet, just throwing their minions out, right? Not thinking about where they are on the board. I think that's why they don't do that more. But I love stuff like this. I love things that affect adjacent minions or your left and right most minions or whatever. Those effects are always great. Also, Heroic Brewmaster, 10 mana, 8/8 taunt, restore 8 health to your hero. It's kind of funny. This is very similar to, what is it? I think it's Mo. Yeah, this guy. Very, very similar to this card, actually. We'll pretend you predicted this card because it's basically armor instead of healing. Imix says Shadow Word Pain, but 1 less mana and -1 attack. I guess, yeah, Shadow Word Pain is a similar effect, right? But obviously, Shadow Word Pain can hit a much higher cost minion as well, depending on the stats. But yeah, so out of all these cards, Tiger Palm is the one that sticks out to me for sure. Okay. Pain can kill Almond Tool. That's a good point. Exactly, right? Shadow Word Pain. Not that anyone's running Shadow Word Pain, but Shadow Word Pain can kill Almond Tool, for example. All right, so here's the classic set. Pandaren Bard, 0 mana, 1/1. Meditation, restore 3 health to your hero. So that's cool, right? 0 mana cards typically haven't really seen play. Well, 0 mana minions. The 0 mana minions haven't really seen play. And yeah, I like it. Chi Touch, 0 mana, restore 2 health to a minion and give it +1 health. That seems kind of, I don't know. Actually, I compare it to the totem spell, right? Maybe it's not strong. Then we got Provoke, give a minion +1/+1 and taunt. Barrel Hammer, 3 mana, 3/2. Death Rattle, restore 6 health to your hero. I really like all the healing synergy. Studious Apprentice, 4 mana, 2/6. Death Rattle, restore health equal to this minion's attack to your hero. The one with Chi, Meditation, give +2/+2. See, that's cool. I think it's kind of similar to it's like Gruul, where it just sits there and gets stronger. So I don't spoil it, Metavat, but I think it'd be really cool if you had a Meditation minion with taunt and just let it sit there with taunt and get bigger and bigger. Yeah. Elusive Dance, 2 mana spell. Any damage your hero takes until your next turn is reduced to 1. Hey, you predicted what's the card called? What's the mage card one? Yeah, you basically that card for 1 mana less. Also, bruh, Animal Companion wouldn't be too insane if you could pick which beast gets summoned. I agree. I would like that change better. Although I feel 90% of the time you'd probably just pick Huffer, right? Also, Hugh, Oracle Balloon can duplicate 2 or less costing minions when played. Oh, yeah, I know which one you're talking about. Yeah, a rare instance of like the cost mattering for sure. Hugh says Tiger Palm would see play in Wild. Tiger Palm is the one I was gushing about, right? Yeah. And it's funny because the Magic equivalent of these cards typically are played quite a bit. Because usually they're very cheap. Usually they're like 1 mana as well, but they only target early game minions. And yeah, usually they're very playable as well. Also, Solid Alibi. Yeah, this is, unless I'm mistaken, this is basically the Solid Alibi, right? Which, Solid Alibi, very good card. Also, Metavet, I actually did predict a real card with Monk. I don't want to keep you on Monk too long, but it's in the League of Explorers set if you want to see it. Yeah, sure. League of Explorers. I forget. There we go. I forgot the order these things all came out in. All right, so what else we got here? Concentrated Defender, 2 mana, 1/1, Meditation, deal 2 damage to all enemy minions. That's strong. Clouding Mist, 2 mana spell, destroy a minion between 2 minions. It's another example, right? Really, really cool effect. Deserting Trainee, 4 mana, 5/5 Meditation, restore 5 health to the enemy hero. Oh, is this supposed... Wait. I don't understand. What am I missing here with this card? Is there something I'm not understanding here? Anyways, Meditating Peacemaker, 6 mana, 5/5 Meditation, destroy a random enemy minion. That's cool. There's some similar effects in the game now, right? There's some minions that say, like, at the end of your turn, like, consume an enemy minion or something like that. Oh, so it's overstated. But, I don't know. When are you not going to attack with it, though? I don't know. Blade of Desperation, 1 mana, 1/2 poisonous. Battlecry, increase the cost of all cards in your hand by 2. That's cool. So obviously like an insane weapon for 1 mana, but it slows down the rest of your hand. That's interesting. Interesting payoff. I almost feel like this card would be even better like late game than early game. Assuming your hand's not like full. Keeper of the Lake, 4 mana, 3/3 charge, Battlecry, copy a friendly minion's meditation. Oh, that's cool. Hey, who called that? You. Hugh said charge meditation is OP, please nerf. That's basically charge meditation. That's cool. Also, Axel says the idea is you have to keep attacking with it. Oh, okay. Transcended Monk, 8 mana, 6/6, meditation, summon a copy of this minion. That's cool. Lily Storm Stout. I recognize Lily from Heroes of the Storm. 4 mana, 2/4. After this minion attacks, trigger the meditations of all friendly minions. That's cool. That's a cool synergy too, right? Like keeping your minions back to trigger their meditations and then attacking with Lily to trigger them again. I like it. Bruss says this man doesn't care about us YouTube viewers. I'm heartbroken. I'm sorry. Bro, we should rebel. We have nothing to lose but our chains. You know what I need to look into? So the way I have things set up is I have a little window here with Twitch chat and a little window here with YouTube chat. For anyone who streams or knows about this stuff, I need to look into some way to have like a combined chat. Because it is a little, it's a little bit of work considering I have to read 2 different chats, right? But if it's just all combined, that'd be nice. So someone hit me up if you know how to do that. I'm sure someone here knows. Also, Hugh, I guess with Deserting Trainee, if there's a giant taunt minion, the effect becomes a problem. Yeah, I guess that's true, right? Is if there's like either a big taunt or some kind of like unfavorable trade, maybe. But yeah, cool so far. So the Witchwood, you said, had good meditation effects. Ride the Wind, 0 mana, give a friendly minion rush. Basically, Demon Hunter got this, a slightly better version. Ominous Mist, 1 mana, the next card you draw costs 3 less. It's interesting. Wind Tamer, 2 mana, 2/3 rush. Meditation, add Ride the Wind to your hands. Enchanted Spirit. It's got Echo. 2 mana, 1/3 Echo. Meditation, restore 1 health to all friendly characters. That's cool. Oh, more Echo. Fists of Fury. 2 mana spell with Echo. Deal 1 damage to a minion. Gain 1 spell damage this turn. That's cool. That's really neat. So basically, it'd be 2 mana, deal 1. 2 mana, deal 2. Then 3, 4, 5. So max out. Actually, maybe it's not that strong. It's a cool card. I don't know how strong it would be though. Yeah, it's neat. Vampire of the Cult. 3 mana, 2/3 lifesteal. Also damages next to whoever it attacks. So got cleave. They have to keyword cleave one day, right? Like it's only a matter of time. They're going to keyword cleave. I will put a bet on it. Within the next year, they're gonna keyword cleave. That's my guess. Also, bro, you heard him. To him, we're just a little window. Yeah, my Twitch chat window is this big, and my YouTube window is this big. No, they're actually the same. But like I said, I need some way to combine them because it would be much easier to track and go back and forth. But then we got Gilnean Oracle, 3 mana, 3/3. Whenever you trigger a meditation, draw 2 cards. Swamp Claws, 3 mana, 2/2 weapon. After a hero attacks, trigger a random friendly meditation. Gordo, the Bog Warden, 6 mana, 7/6. Whenever an enemy minion dies, summon a 2/1 zombie with Rush. Okay. Swamp Raider Lily, 10 mana, 8/10. Battle Cry, deal 5 damage to a random enemy. Repeat for each meditation you trigger this game. Wow. That's like a cool potential finisher. Also, Axel took them long enough for Elusive. For real, I was actually... So, Elusive was one of those things I was surprised they keyworded. I didn't think they would ever keyword it. But I feel like Cleave makes so much sense. It's so wordy. And then we got the zombie here. All right, so... Menavat said they predicted a card here. Is this right? Isn't there some big taunt? Isn't like a 0/7 taunt or something? That's neutral? Who can figure it out first? It's not 3 mana. Okay, it is 0/7. I was right about that. What's the mana cost? Is it not a neutral? Oh, 1/7. I was thinking of that guy. Oh, it's a 1/9. Oh, it's not that card. 3 mana, Collapsing Bridge. At the start of your turn, deal 3 damage to all minions. Oh, that's like a mage spell, isn't it? Oh, Public Defender? Wait, isn't Public... That's a warrior card, isn't it? Oh. Yeah, so... Kind of got that card. Oh, it's a 0/7 though. Oh, almost. But yeah, Collapsing Bridge. Isn't that a mage card? Like a... Isn't it like Rune of something? Am I wrong? Yep. Is it? Oh, it's Demon Hunter. Is it all? No, it's not called Rune. What's it called? Oh, it's Sigil. Sigils is what the Demon Hunters had. Yeah, Sigil of Flame. At the start of your turn, deal 3 damage to all minions. Did you get the mana cost right? Nah, not quite. And then we have Hidden Temple. 2 mana, discover a meditation minion. Also draw any copies of it from your deck. Yeah, I like this. I like the whole meditation idea. The more I think about it, I agree. Someone on YouTube mentioned that the hero power is a little rough because most hero powers, even on like an empty board, can do something. But this one requires a minion on the board. So I understand that argument for sure. But I think the meditation keyword is really, really cool. Hugh, I'm pretty sure discover a meditation card already existed. What? Emoticon, how does one offer a card to be reviewed here? I find it cool that you're doing it live. So I have a channel in my Discord. If you want to post cards there, I'm just going through them, the ones that were posted there. Or if you have like an album somewhere, or if you have like a Reddit post or something, you just post a URL as well. Axel says, what's the hero power? So the hero power they came up with was to give a minion +1/+1, which I think is cool. It's very unique, right? There's no other hero power that buffs, so it's unique in that way. But I guess, yeah, the only downside is it requires you to have a minion on the board, and if you don't have a minion, it just does nothing. Which, unless I'm mistaken, like every other hero power can, in a vacuum, can still do something, right? So that's like the only downside I can think of. But it's cool. Like I said, it's very unique in terms of hero powers. So Hugh, you said that was the one that already existed. Yeah. All right, so that was the monk set. That's cool. And so I've talked about this before. All the time on the custom Hearthstone subreddit, I see people do stuff like that. I see people make, you know, custom classes, custom sets, custom, you know, mini sets and keywords. And I think I'm gonna start another video series at some point where I focus each video on one of those, because it's too much to highlight during my normal custom Hearthstone videos. I try to make my custom Hearthstone videos, you know, kind of short and sweet, but I might start a second custom Hearthstone series where each video focuses on like something like that, right? Each video focuses on a custom set someone made, or, you know, a custom mechanic or a custom hero. So that is definitely on my to-do list there. Also, Menevat, I'll do something in the spirit of Hunter Week. This was for a really cool competition where we were making custom expansions and parts. My set was overall quite mid in the end, but this archetype turned out really well. The set was called Cracks in the Timeline, and it was about Chronomancer causing havoc. So we got some Hunter cards here. Let's take a look. I'll just copy them all, and then we'll take a look. 5 cards, it looks like. All right. Those 5? Yep. All right. So this is part of a custom set that Menevat made, it looks like. Also, bruh, the guy who predicted it became a dev and just put it into the game himself. Sorry, which card? Menevat, are you talking about? Emoticon says, so Astral Serpent could be changed to Meditation, draw 2 cards. So it looks like Hugh deleted a message, but I think Hugh might have answered it, that Meditation, it only triggers if the minion could attack but didn't. But Astral Serpent triggers if it didn't attack. So Astral Serpent triggers the turn it's played, but Meditation wouldn't trigger the turn the minion's played. Also, Tin, does anyone remember that YouTuber who created a cracked Hearthstone client with his made-up Demon Hunter, Death Knight, and Panda way before Demon Hunter released? I have no idea what you're talking about, so I have never seen that. That sounds cool, though. Also, bruh, some guy on that site predicted the Reborn Rager. It was a Rager with Reborn and Battlecry Die. I laughed so hard because it came true. Oh, yeah, Medevat, that's what you're talking about. The guy who predicted it became a dev. I have seen that there is 1 or 2 Hearthstone devs that they started out making custom cards, if I'm not mistaken, which that's cool. Amaz predicted the Death Knight hero power. That's cool. Leo, yeah, I've seen him in some Raren videos, and I remember them talking about the fact that he used to do custom cards, and now he's actually part of the game, which that's neat. Definitely like rags to riches, making custom cards and then being hired by the game. Good for him. Also, Tinned either some rip-off game client or video editing, but he had games of videos of full games. Oh, Menevat and Jothar says it's full-os games. I'll have to look into that. Are they still active? Oh, I'll show this to you guys. I Googled the full ass games, however it's spelled. First one, whatever happened to full ass games? So the answer is no, they're not active still. He streams on Twitch. Oh, Leo streams on Twitch. That's cool. 10 probably got a DMCA takedown by Blizzard. He didn't get many reviews. Bro, I'm having a ton of fun with Even Death Knight. I'm almost considering crafting CNE. I've said this before. CNE is so close to being such a good card. And I think all it would take is give the spirits rush or taunt. You know, there's so many times I've played CNE and I just die the next turn. So if the spirits had some kind of immediate effect, whether it be rush or taunt, I think that card would actually be good. But as it is now, with CNE designed the way it is now, you basically need to one-shot the opponent or you possibly just lose the game. So yeah, I would really like if they buffed the spirits in some way. Although at this point, it's going to rotate in the not far future, so I don't see it getting buffed, unfortunately. But yeah, so we got Primal Trog, 2 mana, 2/3. Whenever your opponent casts a spell, attack the enemy hero. That's cool. It's very similar to that that Demon Hunter card. What is it? 3 mana? 4 mana? The one that was every time you cast a spell, attack. Yeah. Immune while attacking. After you cast a spell, attack the lowest health enemy. Very similar to that, but your opponent triggers it. And see, I really like this effect because your opponent has control over it. You know, it reminds me of the other Trogs as well. If anyone remembers these cards. Where are they? Yeah. So Stone Splinter Trog wasn't really played, but it was a 2 mana 2/3. Whenever your opponent casts a spell, gain +1 attack. Rockdraw Trog, again, didn't see a ton of play, but like I feel like a little bit. 4 mana 2/3/5, same effect, but 2 attack. And then there was also Trogzor, which basically whenever your opponent casts a spell, you summoned the 4 mana one. And these cards are really cool because, oh, there's also the Iron Deep Trog. Iron Deep Trog was played the most for sure out of all of them. But the thing I liked most about these cards is, you know, it was totally left up to your opponent how it went. So, you know, there would be times my opponent would play Iron Deep Trog and I would just hold back on playing spells. Like, basically how good or bad these cards were kind of was up to you. Right? So yeah. Also, did my Twitch chat hiccup or something? Axel says that's not you. Oh, I see you guys are talking to YouTube about Leo. Yeah, no. There is a Hearthstone developer who's named as Leo, and they started off by making custom Hearthstone cards. That's who they're talking about. Also, Tin, it says whenever, so if your opponent kills it with a spell, it still deals 2 damage. I'd play it in Smork. Hugh used to win most games that I top decked Iron Deep Trog when I played Aggro Druid. Yeah, very, very good card, right? But your opponent had some agency to play around it. That's what I really liked about this card. Like it all boils down to what I said before, right? That I like when Hearthstone has interesting decisions to make. I like when it's not just play your green cards, like combo out, play your green cards. I like when there's actually choices to make. I like when you have to think about holding back or, you know, holding back resources. I love stuff like that. And I think Iron Deep Trog was a good example of that. But yeah, so this is cool. Very cool effect. And then we got Ring of Bees, 3 mana 0/3 weapon. After your opponent summons a minion, summon a 2/2 to attack it and lose 1 durability. So I don't know if this is the theme of this set, Menavat, but again, this is where, you know, your opponent knows what's coming. with Iron Deep Trog, with the Primal Trog, with the Ring of Bees, like your opponent knows what's going to happen. So, and they can play around it. They can play into it. I like it a lot. I like cards like that for sure. Got a 2-mana secret here. When a friendly minion attacks, give it +4/+4. So because secrets can't trigger on your turn, this would only trigger on something like this, right? Like something that makes a minion attack on your opponent's turn? Is there going to be more of those? 2 mana, 1/5. Your minions have +2 attack during your opponent's turn. That's cool. Tar creature. And then we got Dread, King of Ungoro. 10 mana, 9/9. Whenever an enemy attacks, Dread's neighbors attack it first. Wait, what? Whenever an enemy attacks... So it's like defending in Magic, kind of. Battlecry summon 2 5/5 Devil Sores. That's interesting. The archetype is based on attacking during your opponent's turn. Yeah, that's cool. I said it in a previous video that, you know, there's some special circumstances where you can give yourself attack on your opponent's turn. And it's a very interesting situation. And I'd really like if they expanded that. I really like it if there was a card I reviewed recently. Let me see, for my custom Hearthstone series. Give me a sec. I save everything. Here it is. Let me show you guys. So this card, I reviewed this card a few videos ago, and it basically says until the end of your turn, your hero has +1 attack. I think that is such a cool mechanic that I am so surprised it's not in the game already. It makes sense for Druid. It makes sense for Warrior. Like basically an example, right, is if you're a Warrior and you play Odin, and then during one of your opponent's turns, they play Armor Vendor, it'll give your hero 4 attack on their turn. And it's happened before. There's been games where I've been playing a Warrior and I have Odin's effect and my opponent plays an Armor Vendor, attacks all their minions into me, and they all just die and they're confused. And it's a cool effect. It's like a very unique effect. So yeah, I'd really like to see something like this in the game. And some of these cards are similar, right? That like it does stuff on your opponent's turn that isn't kind of normal. Yeah, it's neat. Also, Axel Paladin can give an enemy attack. That is true, actually, with the brew, right? Also, Emoticon loves the bees. Yeah, any kind of card that your opponent can see coming and kind of play around, or any kind of card that makes it like awkward for your opponent, right? Like Iron Deep Trog was like the epitome of that. Like it just made things awkward. I don't know. I like it. I like it a lot. Also slowed. I remember this Trog when I used to play Ignite Mage, an APM OTK deck, but I couldn't win the game because the animations of this card were painfully slow. You're not wrong there. But yeah, I like effects like this for sure. All right, so next up, Menavat has one more. It's a reworked Deep Miner Bran, it looks like. Let's take a look. So this one, 3 mana. Okay, so it's like original Bran stats. 3 mana, 2/4. If your deck started with no duplicates, your battle cry is triggered twice until the end of your next turn. I like, that's for sure. I feel like I thought of a similar situation before too, making it much cheaper but a much weaker effect. Because I still agree, to this day, Bran is broken. Bran warps, Reno Warrior may not be meta, but it doesn't change the fact that Bran is such a game warping card. Like you could just do some truly degenerate stuff with Bran, and I'm not a fan of the design at all. So I obviously at this point, I don't think they're going to nerf it, but I think that's a fair nerf. They just Zola it. Well, I guess, yeah, I wouldn't go infinite or anything, right? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to fix this card. I will admit, I don't know how to fix this card, but I just think it's such a degenerate card. Tin is too weak now. Yeah, like I said, I agree that Reno Warrior is not meta. It's very much not, like, if you're looking to climb, it's not a deck to play. But I think cards can be, I've talked about it before, right? But cards can be bad in terms of performance, but also very bad from like a player sentiment perspective. Like Hydration Station, for example, right? Hydration Station wasn't like the best deck in the world or anything, but it was just the fact that it led to such a bad player experience. Like it just felt miserable to play against. So I know Bruh, I don't know if you're here still or not. I know Bruh is still heartbroken about the Hydration Station nerf, but I understand it. I understand it 100% because it was just, I would want to uninstall the game after some of those Hydration Station Warrior matches. It's just not fun. Hugh says use Fizzle to duplicate Zola and then you can go infinite. I actually really like Bran. Oh, don't get me wrong, Emoticon. Playing Bran, like if you're playing Reno Warrior, so fun. So fun. But playing against Reno Warrior, not fun. Same with Hydration Station, right? Playing Hydration Station, good. Playing against Hydration Station, bad. But I think that is a sign of a badly designed card, I think. So I'm not surprised it got nerfed, like I said. Emoticon was more upset Dark Marrow wasn't as good as Bran. I am actually really surprised. I thought Dark Marrow, and who knows, right? It's still a very new card. Who knows? In a couple expansions or after rotation, this card could see some play. But I am also surprised. I thought this card would be better. Like on paper, it seems nuts, right? It's basically Umbra and Rivendare like combined into one card, plus the Tourist Enabler. Like, it seems good. Who knows? It might be one day. We'll have to see. Axel says Warrior Mirror is boring. Yeah, Warrior Mirror is boring because it boils down to, like, who draws Bran first. If you Bran Boom Boss first, you probably win. Menavat says nerfing cards because they're awful to play against is a valid reason, and I will die on this hill. I agree. Like, 100%. Like I said, Hydration Station wasn't the best deck in the game. But it was a like sentiment outlier. And I'm sure Blizzard has the stats to back it up, right? Blizzard has access to all kinds of stats that we don't. And I'm sure they saw, right, that there was probably tons of times that people played against Hydration Station and just closed the game afterwards. Because it's just like, I'm out, right? Like I felt that way. There was some times where if I wasn't streaming, I'd be like, yeah, I'm done for the day. So I very much get it, for sure. But wait, I want to see Dark Marrow at 3. He's too expensive to use now. If this card at 3 is like not an example of power creep, I don't know what is. Like imagine seeing this card as is just a few years ago. It'd be insane. The fact that 4 mana is too slow for this is like hilarious. Slow looking at cards like Bran or Odin's are pure examples of Blizzard learning nothing from Stormwind. I agree. It almost feels like the Hearthstone developers get like Men in Black mind wiped every other year, because I feel like they keep making the same mistakes 100%. Like there's cards, and like I said with the player sentiment, right? They keep releasing game warping cards or just like awful player sentiment cards, and then like 2 years later they do the same thing. Maybe they just fire. Maybe it's because like they just keep firing everyone. They fire everyone and they restart, and all the new people have never played Hearthstone before. They don't know what they're doing. I don't know. But next up, we got Hexblood. I'm not good at balancing cards. A surge of energy that could be. Let me see. Explaining the card. All right, so Hexblood made this card and admitted they're not good at balancing cards. So we'll see what it is. Got Living Surge, 2 mana, 2/3. It's a dual class mage and shaman minion. Battlecry, magnetize to a friendly mech or elemental. Death Rattle, magnetize to a random mech or elemental in your hand. That's kind of cool. So, I just like nitpicking here, right? I don't think it needs to be a battle cry. I could just say magnetize, because there's that one card, right? The hunter one that just says magnetize to a mech or beast. I cannot spell. Or like this, right? Yeah, it would just say like can magnetize to mechs or elementals. But Death Rattle is cool. Just kind of keep looping it. It's like a permanent buff. As long as you have a mech or elemental in your hand. What do you guys think? Magnetize is not battle cry. Yeah, that's what I was saying. You can remove the battle cry wording there. That's just a nitpick. Hugh, I still stand by my judgments regarding Hydration Station. All those Miracle and Pirate Rogues deserve to be locked behind a wall of Reborn. Like I said, it felt good to play Hydration Station, right? But it was not fun to play against. Tin says they have to bring back Q Block. It was iconic. I agree. Q Block, actually, I should do a video at one point. For anyone unfamiliar, right? I do a lot of like top 5 videos on YouTube. I should do my top 5 favorite decks of all time. Because Q Block would be in it. If I had to pick my top 5 decks over the course of the game, Q Block would be in there, 100%. Emoticon, I tried so hard to use Dark Marrow, but the cost is just too restrictive for the Death Rattles in Standard, and it has to stay on the board, so you barely get 1 or 2 triggers. Yeah, day 1 of Perils, I tried a Death Rattle Warlock deck too, and it just, yeah, it didn't work out, unfortunately. To be honest, the reason Stormwind was so bad is the super powerful win cons are guaranteed draws. There's a reason we haven't seen quests since. Yeah, I'm actually surprised. It's been a while since we've seen quests. You'd think they would bring back quests to like shut everyone up. You know, people are complaining about the game kind of being like in a bad state and bland. I'm surprised Blizzard's not just like, shh, like take quests. Here's quests. Shut up. That's like one of their like aces in their pocket is to bring back. It's like that's what they do. They bring back something people like a lot, or it's like, oh, here's some packs. Here, have a gold pack. Actually, only 50% of you get the gold pack. It's a Thanos pack. Actually, hands up. Who hasn't got their golden pack still? I'm one of them. Phantom golden pack. If you got the golden pack, you're a liar. I don't think it exists. Imic also hasn't got it. Like I said, if you got that pack, you're lying. I don't think it exists. Also, Steve, maybe the fix to Deep Miner Brand is making him a Death Rattle card so the enemy has a way to deal with it. That would be interesting. Oh, imagine stealing that with Yogg or something, though. Also, Emoticon, I'd be fine with Dark Marrow being a 1-mana 1/1. If anyone got any connections, I wouldn't be mad. I feel like it would be good as a 1-mana 1/1, for sure. Hugh says, Blizzard, okay, we're going to stop giving Druid ramp. 4 months later, okay, so here's mini guff. So on top of that, also, hey, Warrior. Warrior's doing pretty good, right? Here's ramp for Warrior, too. Who thought to give Warrior ramp? I hope they don't get a Christmas bonus. The devs don't get Men in Black. Blizzard literally fires a third of their devs every year to avoid paying taxes. Yeah, that's like I said, right? Every year they just fire everyone, and then they put like a Craigslist ad up for like card developers. Like, if you've ever played a card game in your life, we want you. And then they make Deep Miner Brand, and then they get fired the next year, and then repeat. That's the cycle. That's the Hearthstone cycle. Slowed, the best way to balance this game is to add 2 very little details to cards, not less than 1. I agree. Once or twice per game. Buff their overall power, making Solid Alibi or Frost Nova 2 mana. I agree so much on the not less than 1. I've talked about that so many times with like Concierge. Am I going to spell it right? I can't spell apparently. Neutral, 3 mana. Oh, it's 4 mana now, right? Yep. Yeah, so I've talked about this in the past with Concierge. Like, granted, I don't think it's as much of a problem with the nerf, but regardless, I think cards costing 0 have broken so many things over the course of the game, right? Like, cards costing 0 has never been a good thing. And I think this card from the start should have said not less than 1. You are totally right. Boy says it's good that we haven't gotten quests for a while. Hugh says golden pack? What? So on the store last week or the week before, they gave out a free golden pack for everyone. Basically, there's a handful of stuff they're giving out over the course of the month. Right here. Yeah, so basically, the first half of the month, they had Golden Hearth for free. And then they gave out a Golden Perils pack the second week. But the problem is that a huge chunk of people just didn't get the pack. So me, Imic, Ayato apparently got it. We'll see. But yeah, a lot of people claimed the pack on the store and just never got it. So these other, it's funny, they crossed these out. Yep. Postponed due to a bug. So there was then 2 regular packs they were going to give out, but they've delayed it because this just broke. So yeah, you didn't really miss anything because it doesn't exist. It's been a week or 2 and it's still not fixed. So who knows? Maybe they're just gonna wait it out until people forget about the golden pack and then just not fix it. Steve, also, how is Tours not just dual class cards but more expensive? You're right. I talked about this recently. How you are 100% right that Tourist is basically dual class cards with a 1600 dust like gatekeep. But also keep in mind that usually when dual class cards come out, there's only a couple dual class cards per class. But with the Tourist, you're getting what, 9 cards, 10 cards. Let me look. How many cards come out per class? 10. Minus the other Tourist, right? So yeah, so it is like dual class cards, but you're getting more of them. You're essentially getting 9 per class. So more cards, but 1600 dust to play them. But very similar for sure. Also, Void, I received the golden pack, and I definitely haven't been paid by Blizzard to spread this propaganda. I don't believe you, man. Blizzard employees cycle out faster than standard expansions. Tin says, case in point, they already learned this lesson with Sorcerer's Apprentice, and then they got sacked. Yeah, the people who were around during Sorcerer's Apprentice, they're no longer with the game. Also, Hugh, that rings a bell. I was so confused when I accepted the pack and then nothing happened. Thought I imagined it. No, you did imagine it. Yeah, that's the Men in Black mind wipe. You didn't get a golden pack. You're imagining it. But anyways, yeah, I think being able to magnetize to other tribes is cool. They've done it a couple times now. I'd like to see it more, for sure. And then what do we got here? Cam. I'm not sure who Cam is, if they have a different name on Twitch or YouTube. But they submitted a couple cards. Let's take a look. Oh. What happened here? Is this going to be difficult? How can I do this? I'm trying to show these without showing people's information and stuff. What if I save it? All right, I saved the picture to see if that works. All right, so this is another card submitted. Let me clean stuff up a bit here. My desk is a mess. So we got Trade Prince Gazlo, 4 mana, 3/4 legendary neutral. Start a game. If your deck has no duplicates, add Auctioneer Jackson. Give your cards tradable. Wait. If your deck has no duplicates and Auctioneer Jackson, give your cards tradable. What's Auctioneer Jackson? What's Auctioneer Jackson? I think I missed something. What am I? I don't know. I missed something here. But anyways, the start a game effect to give all your cards tradable, that's cool. 2-mana card when you trade a card, discover a card, and you're like, oh, it's a real card. I thought it was some other made-up custom card that they were referencing. Oh, okay. For what it's worth, I've never seen this card played, so I did not remember this name at all. Whenever you trade, you discover a card from your deck instead. Okay. I like start a game effects. I've talked about it before. I really like, you know, unique deck building restrictions with start a game effects. I think it's a cool payoff, giving all your cards tradable. Yeah, I like it. Also, Menavat got the golden pack. 1 rare and 4 commons. Classic. Also, Tin that returned to Hearthstone after like a year, got nothing for free. Then like 2 days later, they started giving returning players like 100 packs. I've seen that before. I've seen posts on Reddit where Hearthstone will offer people who haven't played the game in a while like 50 packs, 100 packs, like crazy stuff. But it's super hit or miss. So yeah, it feels bad for sure. Because I've seen some crazy stuff they've given away to bring people back to the game. It makes me almost want to just stop playing for 6 months and just wait for them to be like, here's 200 packs, please come back. Also, Hugh, Sorcerer's Apprentice has been wrecking havoc in Wild for a while now, although right now the decks that use it aren't good simply because Pirates and Miracle Rogue are even more broken. Tind, what does and mean? Does your deck have to have it or not? I'm assuming it's saying that, yeah, if it's a Highlander deck that also includes this, it triggers. Like I said, I think it's a cool payoff. My biggest problem here is that it's a legendary that requires another legendary to work. Yeah, but that's the Blizzard way, right? Give me that dust, give me that money. That's literally Tourist, right? I like, not to defend Tourist or anything, because I think it is a cool mechanic, but the fact that Tourist is locked behind a legendary, and not only that, but a legendary for every different class, it's so scummy. Like, so greedy by Blizzard. I think that's such a stupid decision. I think they should have given everyone like a free Tourist or two. I think if you logged into the game during Perils, it should have just popped up and like everyone got a free random Tourist or two at the very least. Because yeah, I think that's one of like the most greedy things they've done in a while. Also, Hugh, that card seems broken. Trade Prince Gazla would probably balance out Wild if he was added. Maybe even tilt it towards Reno control. Also, Axel, they gave me 30 Castle Nathria and standard plaques plus a free deck. That's cool. Hey, I'll take free packs. All tourists should have been free like Galakron. You're not wrong. I agree that they should have all been free, but Blizzard never in their right minds would have done that. And it's because Blizzard knows that people will pay for them, right? Because it's literally the mechanic of the set. So of course people are going to craft the cards, they're going to buy the cards. So yeah, it is what it is. Also, Immic Tourist is better than Dual Class because you can replay the cards from that other class in certain cases, like in Rogue and Paladin. And it works with Concierge, but other than that, it works the same. Yeah, there's obviously some little differences between the two, for sure. Also, a Yado, completely side note, Wild Packs are March of the Lich King, Castle, and... Wild Packs are March, Castle, and Sunken City good sets to collect. I'm not sure if anyone else can answer that, because I'll be honest, I feel like I'm not in a good position to answer that question because I have been playing since the game came out and I never disenchant anything. So I have just been padding my Wild collection for 10 years now. But for someone getting into Wild, yeah, I'm not sure what's the best approach. Actually, funny enough, I just posted something on Twitter about that last week. Let me bring it up. So on Twitter last week, I posted how They really should. I wish they had catch-up packs for Wild. Or I mentioned it, some kind of like Wild starter bundle. Like if you're a new player getting into Wild, like the barrier of entry is so high. Like you're so far behind. I really wish, like I said, there was either catch-up packs for Wild or some like pay $20 or $25 and get a bunch of like staple cards for Wild, like some kind of starter pack, right? And I compared it to, once again, not to talk about it too much, but I compared it to Magic, where later this year, Magic is coming out with a starter collection that basically includes 350 cards of different rarities. You know, it's the same cards in every single pack. So you get a bunch of like staples and common cards and stuff, right? You get some packs, you get some other stuff to get you started. Like something like this in Magic would be, or in Hearthstone would be so good, especially for Wild. Also, Imix says buy standard packs and craft the rest of the cards because Wild sets suck. Also, Leo, if you play Wild, you up some pretty good cards there. Especially Sunken City and Nathri if you want to spend the money on gold, that is. But yeah, like I said, I really wish there was something like this for Wild. Because I think that's one of the reasons that Wild isn't more popular, right? Is to get into Wild from scratch is so much money or time. And if they really wanted Wild to be successful, they would add something like this. But that's okay. Just fire all your developers, Blizzard, and start over next year again. All right, so next card. Oh, we got a Colossal card here. All right, let's save this one. Because I don't know why the links aren't working for this one. Imic is not popular because Wild sucks, no one balances it, and no devs care about it. You're not wrong. I won't argue with that. I talked about this a couple weeks ago, how to me, they should add a third format. So once again, in Magic, there's multiple formats that have different cutoff points. So there's a Wild equivalent that lets you play all of the cards from the entire release of the game. There's another format, you know, say it lets you play the last like 20 years of cards. Another format for the last like 10 years of cards. I wish Magic would, or I keep getting confused. I wish Hearthstone would do that. Basically, leave Wild. Wild can be all the cards, free for all. And then add another format that says, okay, you can play the cards from the last 5 years here. Like from X set forward. Like Hearthstone's been around long enough. Like there's 10 years of cards now. I think they need to split it off again like that. Because funny enough, those in-between formats in Magic are like the most popular ones. The power level isn't as crazy as like the wide open one, and there's a lot more like deck options and stuff. I think that's a solution. Like I said, I think 10 years is enough to do that. It's been long enough. Also, Imic, I literally asked, and the only person from Team 5 that plays Wild is Nick, who's writing patch notes and other written texts. We did get Caverns of Time. Yeah, when Caverns of Time came out, I had like such high hopes. I thought that was the start of something cool. Like, I thought that was the start of them caring about Wild. But unfortunately, it was just made to sell Twist. It's like, it's very obvious that's the case now. Axel says Pokemon has expanded. I'll be honest, I'm not super familiar with the Pokemon card game. So is it the same? Does Pokemon have, like, basically Wild and Standard, or do they have multiple sets? Like Magic? Also, sorry on YouTube, you guys are chatty too. Tourist is my least favorite mechanic in a while. I played a lot of Rogue this expansion, then got to Rogue Tourist. When am I supposed to play the same cards again in Paladin? I will say, the Rogue Tourist, I wish it was cheaper. It's too expensive, unfortunately. It's such a cool card, though. Also, Lunaria, there was a custom card I saw somewhere that I wanted to post but couldn't find it. It had the effect, start a game, draw this, battle cry for the rest of the game. Cards cannot cost less than 1. I feel like I would run that in every single deck. Order in the Court is used for the Holy Wrath Paladin combo, although that isn't as common now. Framester for Reno Shaman. There's some pretty good cards, actually. Wild decks are an average quite cheap, as aggro, APM, and tempo decks are always prominent and cheap to craft. Imix says exactly, it wasn't even for wild. All they wanted is to sell signatures and bundles. Yeah, but like I said, when Caverns released, it was such a cool idea. I was so excited for like the potential it opened up, right? But then the dust settled, and like we said, it was obvious Caverns was just made for Twist. So unfortunately, it didn't pan out. But man, that could have been the start of something great. You know, even like a yearly wild exclusive set would have been really cool. Also, Hewag got into WoW for pretty cheap. I was using Questline Druid and Standard before that rotated out. Then at some point I checked out wild decks and out of curiosity. Then sure enough, Questline Druid is the #1 deck and no other legendaries are being used. Hopefully Microsoft, one of the biggest corporations in history, will not resort to the same sort of crackhead economics as Activision. Wild is way more competitive than Standard, or would be if they balance it. And if you mean that by sucks, then yup, otherwise it would be really fun. Standard bores me, to be honest. I think there's pros and cons. I think there's pros and cons to both Standard and Wild. But like I said, I think the game could benefit from a third format, like an in-between format. But anyways, back to the custom cards. We got Yogg Saron, Sunken God, 10 mana, 10/10 with Colossal 10. What is this? What does his message say? A little context, Colossal 10 would fill your board. Any extra appendages will summon for your opponent and add to the end of turn random spell effect. The appendages are 1 mana 1/1s with no text. So it says, cast a random spell for each of Yogg Saron's appendages. So if you have an empty board, it would give you 6 and give your opponent 4. And then it'll count the ones from your opponent too. So this is basically a 10 mana, 10/10, get 6 6/6s, cast 10 random spells, give your opponent 4 10/10s or 4 1/1s. I will say though, because we talked earlier, right, about RNG and stuff like that, I think Yogg is a fun example. I think Yogg is an example of like Hearthstone RNG. I guess maybe my point is I would like Hearthstone RNG more if it wasn't like competitive. Because there's some really fun RNG cards that aren't necessarily competitive. Even though Yogg was competitive, original Yogg was played a lot. But yeah, say like second Yogg, for example. Wasn't played nearly as much. But fun, cool card. Medevac, Caverns of Time gave us a Rooney card, and that alone justifies its existence. Twist is paused currently. Twist is a mess. I keep wanting to do a video talking about Twist, but man, Blizzard has butchered Twist so much. It had so much potential. They've just dropped the ball like repeatedly. It's insane. And I feel like it'd be so easy to make Twist something meaningful. The only explanation, I heard something about how the person who was came up with Twist, or the person that was heading Twist, apparently they were fired or quit not long after it came out. So maybe it just has like no direction now, or no clear leader. I don't know. I heard that was a thing apparently though. It would make sense because it seems like they announced Twist and they had all these ideas and all this potential, and then literally 2 months in, they're just like, we're out of ideas. It'll come back in a few months. And it's like, how do you plan this totally new game mode, and then like two seasons in, you're like, oh, no more ideas. Like, what? It makes no sense. So if that rumor is true, that apparently the person who was like planning it all left the company for one reason or the other, that would explain things for sure. Because it's, like I said, it had so much potential. I was really excited for Twist as well. And it's more often than not been a letdown. I only played Twist the last 2 months because I loved playing the Xyrella deck. That was a cool deck. That was probably the coolest deck out of all of them, I think. Also, Matt London went on to work the Blizzard Adventure game, which was canned. Okay. So it sounds like it's more than just a rumor. Also, Hugh, how is that Yogg Colossal 10? Does he expand the board? Yeah, so it says the extras will go to the opponent. So if this is on an empty board, you'll get 6, and then your opponent gets 4. Cool card, unique and creative. Does anyone here play Twist? I forgot it exists. Every single Yogg was highly competitive. Really, I don't remember the wheel one being played as much, but maybe it's just been a while and I forget. Ooh, we got a Death Knight card. Bernardo. Let's take a look here. Is this link gonna work? Okay. Let's go back to the nicer layout. So, Bloodsworn Cultist. 4 mana, 2 blood, 4/4. Battlecry, spend 4 corpses to give all friendly characters +4 health. So, I have said this many, many times. I absolutely adore the health manipulation aspect of Blood Death Knight. If you make custom cards on the Custom Hearthstone subreddit, make a Blood Death Knight card with some kind of health manipulation aspect, you will get in my video. I am such a sucker for these cards. I think it is such a cool mechanic. I think it is so untapped. You know, Blizzard, basically we have Vampiric Blood. We have the Primus, which does the same effect. Is that it? Is there any other effects that increase your max health with Death Knight, or is it just those two? I can't remember. But basically, Vampiric Blood was part of the base Death Knight set, right? So it seemed like that was going to be Blood's like theme. That it was going to be all about increasing your max life, maybe decreasing your opponent's max life, and they just never did anything with it. Death Knight's been out over a year now. Multiple sets have come out, and there have been nothing since. The Primus, like I said, the Primus kind of counts. Oh, Maw and Paw. It is also Maw and Paw. So what, 3 cards? 3 cards since Death Knight came out have health manipulation, and I thought that was going to be a core aspect of Blood. It's cool. I like it. As like a control player, right? It's kind of like Warrior. Warrior, you build up lots of armor and get lots of health, like effective health. Death Knight, basically doing the same thing, but with just health. I don't know. As a control player, I really liked that idea. So as I said, if you want a cheat code to be in one of my videos, design a Blood Death Knight card with health manipulation. And more than likely, I'll probably pick it because I have a soft spot for them. So yeah, very, very cool card. I like this a lot. Leo, that's me. Oh, Leo, you're Bernardo. Here, I found out how to add nicknames on Discord. I'm going to add your name in brackets. So now it says Bernardo with Leo in brackets. Because there is people who watch and their Discord name is different than the name they watch with, and I don't connect the dots sometimes. Also, Tin, the first Yogg, and the Yogg Titan were literally the best card in the game. The Wheel Yogg was played in a lot of control decks. It wasn't that good, but you'd played it if you were losing. Also slow. I just wanted Twist to be a nostalgic format where I can enjoy old expansions and metas like in Goro. See, okay. If Blizzard came to me and said, how do we fix Twist? How do we make Twist interesting? As it's so simple. Literally, just take all of the sets, randomly select 3, 4, 5 of them, and say that's the format. And then like every 2 weeks or every month, just rotate it. Just make it a rotating format of randomly selected expansions. It's that simple. That's what I would do. And I do think a month is maybe too long, because I think that's part of the problem with Twist is literally after a week, no one gives a shit about Twist. So to me, it should be like Tavern Brawl. It should either be weekly or maybe even bi-weekly or whatever, bi-monthly, every other week. But that's how I would do it. And that's what I thought Twist would be. I thought Twist would be this place where you could just play your old cards and like, you know, old metas maybe. If Twist was basically a classic mode, but with rotations from expansions once in a while, I wouldn't even play standard or wild. Exactly. And if you do the random expansions, right, there will be metas that didn't exist before. So there will be maybe cool combos or archetypes or metas that we've never seen before. So literally just random number generator, 5 expansions every couple of weeks and just keep switching it. Yeah, that's what I would do. Depends on what they put in. I'd have liked for the last one more month. Although, oh yeah, the last one was very unique, right? So something like that, I can understand being longer, but something like I'm describing, I think a month would be too long. Well, actually, I just remembered. So leading up to, was it the Perils launch or was it Whizbang, where Twist was basically the first day was the base Hearthstone set, and then the next day they added the first expansion. The next day was the next expansion. They kept expanding. When did that happen? Was that before Whizbangs? Because that was cool. I thought it was too fast. Basically, every day added a new expansion. I would have liked it if maybe every other day added a new expansion. But that was such a cool... That was one of the coolest twists they've done, if not the coolest. Basically, like reliving like the history of Hearthstone every day. I just feel like the issue is the downtime, accessibility, and lack of promotion. So downtime, 100%. That is, you know, I feel like Twist like starts to get some buzz, and then it's like, okay, we're gone for 2 months. Like, see you, bye. So that's part of the problem, the downtime. Accessibility, yes. And accessibility, it rolls around to what I mentioned about like wild catch-up packs. That there should be a more cost-effective way and an easier way to catch up your collection, that to get old cards. Because no one is going to craft like old cards to play for 2 weeks in Twist. Like during the Whizbang's Heroes Twist, right? There was people who asked me like, should I craft this legendary to play the deck in Twist? I was like, no. Like that card is shit. You're never going to play it after Twist. Like unless you're swimming in dust, it is not worth it to spend 1600 dust to play this deck for a month. So yes, there needs to be some kind of way to like catch up on these old cards or have access to these old cards. One thing I suggested is adding a Twist Pass where you can pay maybe $10 per expansion and basically just get access to all the cards in Twist. So imagine if Twist was that rotating format I mentioned, right? And then you could pay $10 per expansion to have a Twist Pass and just have every card in Twist. Like, I bet you the money they would make from that pass would be more than the money they would make from people crafting these cards for a month or two. Granted, like I don't see the back end, right? I don't know if that's true or not, but I feel like people would be much more inclined to purchase something like that. Mimic, you can't expect a new mode to succeed without a huge promotion, streams, etc. That is true too. As you mentioned, lack of promotion. I feel like even like on YouTube and Twitch, you're right. I feel like I didn't see that many people playing or uploading Twist stuff. So yeah, they should have pushed a bunch of like streamers and content creators to do stuff with it. You are right. And they were selling 3 crap legendaries for $20. Yeah, those bundles were insane. I hope none of you guys bought that because that was such a ripoff too. It was like you pay $20 for 3 shitty old legendaries. Also, what do we got here? Hughes, this Tavern Brawl is so strange. I've been milling the opponent with Steam Cleaner and then using Jade Idol to survive. I've played against someone who did that and I was so upset. Slowed, this format would give a breath to life for the useless wild cards that will never see play and just fill your collection. That's why I don't dust wild cards. Yeah, slowed, like I said, right? If Twist was some kind of rotating format of random expansions, for sure, some cards that were maybe shit in wild could see some play because of it'd be a different environment, right? Different like set of expansions. Also, Metavat, I still have hopes for Twist. Yes, it's been mostly underwhelming so far, but it's still in the game and they can do cool things with it in the future. So I have a question. Does anyone know, one, how long is Twist down for? Like, when is it coming back? And 2, when it does come back, have they said what it's going to be next? Also, Leo's got some more cards. So when someone lets me know about the future of Twist, in the meantime, let's look at Leo's next card. Got Grunarg the Savage, 8 mana 6/6 legendary Demon Hunter minion. Battlecry and Death Rattle, summon a random demon from your deck. It attacks a random enemy that dies. I've said it before that I I wish Big Demon Hunter was more of a thing. Would this be good enough? That is the question. So I will say, I think the problem with Big Demon Hunter isn't necessarily the enablers. I think it's the payoffs. I think there just isn't enough good big demons to make it worthwhile. Like the obvious example, let's see here. The obvious example, I always forget the name. Where is it? This guy. Illidari Inquisitor is like the epitome of like a big demon payoff. This card has an immediate impact. It can do so much damage if left unchecked. We need more cards like this. We need more big demons like this. But what do they give us? Where is it? So we want more big demons like Illidari Inquisitor, right? And they give us this piece of shit. Like, that's the problem. It's not like Big Demon Hunter has a lot of good potential setup cards, but the payoffs are just dreadful. So I think this card could be good, but we just need more like good big demons to support it. Because yeah, this card is just doo-doo. Like, this isn't going to make Big Demon Hunter good. Also, Immic, the next Twist format should come back in October. Have they said what it's going to be? Or is it a surprise? Actually, I should say, are they still figuring it out themselves? They probably don't even know what the next Twist season is going to be. Tin that made the decision to dust every wild card to stay competitive in Standard many years ago. There's no coming back. And that's the thing, right? I understand a lot of people dust their cards when they rotate out. So that's another reason why there should be some way for people to catch up on wild cards. Emoticon, I wish they'd bring back that Demon Hunter Dragon, make it a playable archetype-wise. The 9-drop? Which one are we talking about here? Demon Hunter Dragon. Are we talking like this guy? This card was cool. More of a fun card than a good card, but a cool card. They did a little bit of like this effect with Demon Hunter, right? They got a few cards that they upgraded when things died, but a lot of them were so shit. Like there's that one. What is it? This guy. This is one of the worst cards like ever released. This card's so bad, but they went a little bit down the route. It's a cool idea. It's kind of like, well, it basically is infuse, right? Yeah, it's literally infuse. It's literally infuse. Give this +1/+1. The Demon Hunter was ahead of the curve, guys. Emoticon Savage seems cool, though. At least it works really well with all-terrain Void Hounds. Yeah, well, that's the problem with the Void Hound, right? Is that it doesn't have like rush or some way to immediately attack. So you are right. It would bounce. It would go well with that. Also, we got a Hunter card here. Lost. Who watched Lost, the TV show? That's a great show. I am very happy that I got to watch Lost like live as it was on TV. Because at the time when Lost was on TV, the internet was not as like it was a different place, right? Forums were very much like the main means of communication on the internet still. And I remember with Lost, because it was week to week, you know, there was forums and chat rooms and stuff, you know, dedicated to like theory crafting Lost, you know, talking about like what's going on in the show and predicting things like that. Like that doesn't happen with shows nowadays. Part of the problem is because a lot of shows just all release at the same time. Also, I feel like there's just more people on the internet and information spreads faster. Like, I feel like if Lost came out now, people would figure out the season finale like 3 episodes in. I don't know if people are just like smarter or better at catching that stuff, but I feel like people predict shows like so often nowadays, like so quickly. But with Lost, I don't know, it was different. Like I said, like week to week, reading all like the forum discussions and stuff, like that doesn't happen anymore. So I'm very glad I got to experience that. I was younger, because when did Lost come out? Was it my teens? 2004. So I was 14 when it started. And when did it finish? 2010. Yeah, so it's like 14 to 19, 20. Like I said, I have like fond memories of watching Lost week to week, and like I remember talking to people at school about it, and yeah, it was great. It was a cool experience. Like I said, it's something you just can't experience now. So I'm glad I got to live through that. What do we got here? Emoticon, it's a bigger cheese dragon, but a theme. I love the show Lost. So glad some of the people I've never seen before that show got around to do more things. Great actors, a lot of them. That is funny, eh? Like, there's multiple shows like that from years ago that some big actors got their start on, right? Like, some of the actors and actresses on Lost went on to do good things. Others you've just never seen ever again. Like the main guy, Jack in Lost. What's his name? Matthew Fox. This guy, I feel like he could have went on to do great things, but apparently he's like a huge asshole in real life, and he's like very hard to work with. But man, literally like the main character in the biggest TV show at the time, he probably had like so many opportunities and offers and things like that, and just flushed it down the toilet, from my understanding. But then, who else you got? Daniel Day Kim has gone on to do stuff. She's gone on to do stuff. Like there's people that had very successful careers after Lost, and then some that just dropped off the face of the earth. Also, Paz agrees, top tier TV show. Emoticon misses those days. Probably the last time I enjoyed watching shows weekly. There is pros and cons to releasing shows weekly. Like, it's nice to just like suck, like to binge it, right? Binging is nice, but there's something about watching stuff week to week and actually letting stuff process. Like, it's different. And especially like when there's like emotional moments in shows or big moments, it's like it hits different week to week, right? It gives you time to like let it settle and sink in. Also, Metavat says J.J. Abrams, huh? You didn't know that J.J. Abrams was a huge part of Lost? My favorite thing about him is S. I don't know what that is. You mean Star Trek? Did you press enter too early? What's S? I have no idea. Oh, it's a book. I'm actually reading a book right now. If anyone's ever seen this TV show or read the books, I love the books for this series. The show's good too, but they didn't finish off the series. I love the series. I love sci-fi books. I really like how kind of grounded this series was. And the author just came out with a new book. This one. They're starting off like a new trilogy, and the new book just came out. I'm reading this right now. I'm probably going to finish it tonight, actually, if I'm not too tired. Also, Emic, for instance, later in the year... quoting Twist here. Later in the year, we'll be revisiting Wonders and the Caverns of Time set for 2 seasons. We're hoping that brings back some Wonders and Caverns of Time will bring players another chance to try the cards out. So they're just repeating the original Twist, it sounds like. Since the new Twist season will be out in October and November, there's no time for any other rules. They'll probably kill Twist next year. I would not be surprised at all if they killed Twist next year. I'll be honest, when they had that big like doom and gloom announcement a few weeks ago that they were talking about like the future of Hearthstone, I thought they were gonna can Twist. Actually, I wouldn't have been surprised. Also, the secret seems very powerful. Oh, I didn't even read it. I literally read the title and went off on a whole tangent about the TV show. So yes, Lost. 2-mana secret. When an enemy minion attacks your hero, shuffle it into the opponent's deck. That's like a way stronger freezing trap, right? Tin says secret seems broken. Emoticon says it's very powerful. I don't know if I'd say it's broken, but it's good. Yeah, very, very strong. Like way better than freezing trap, and freezing trap's good. Tin, I don't have the attention span to watch TV shows anymore. The most I'll do is watch a YouTube video about a TV show. That's such like a funny like workaround. Emoticon agrees. We're spoiled these days. It is insane how the attention span of society has just gone down the shitter. And a huge part of it is just like TikTok, Vine. Like it's all like everyone's like microdosing on like dopamine. It's just, yeah. Like I'll be honest, I don't have TikTok. I've never downloaded TikTok. I've never used TikTok, but I've heard that apparently it's a thing on TikTok that they have like multiple things going now. Like it'll be some TikTok going on, and then it'll be someone like cutting sand on the bottom or some shit. Is that true? Like people literally can't focus on one thing. They need like multiple things going on now. Gen Z, yes, that's the Zoomer attention. Although it's not just Zoomers. Like I said, I know people my age. I'm 33. I turn 34 next month, and I know people my age that have gone down that rabbit hole. So Zoomers are the most like the most obvious for sure, but even older people, it's affecting everyone. It's scary to think about what things will be like in 10 years. Because, you know, I've talked about it before, right? If you look, because a lot of people will say, you know, like, oh, technology's not advancing that much, right? And if you look at a very narrow perspective, you know, if you look at technology, outside of AI, because AI advancement has been kind of crazy the last couple of years, but outside of that, if you look at, you know, technology 2 years ago to today, sure, it's not that different, right? But you compare 10 years ago to today, 20 years ago to today, it's insane. Like I remember being in high school and like the modern smartphone wasn't come out. I remember when the first iPhone came out, and what was that? 15 years ago? When did the first iPhone come out? 2009? 2009? Am I right? Oh, 2007. I was close. Yeah. So 2007. So, what do we got? 17 years. So I was close. But still, so think of how much the world has changed from that point to now. Like, actually insane. Like, I remember when I was in grade school and the internet started catching on. I remember sending, like, emails to people. I remember going on, like, AOL Messenger with people, you know? It's insane when you compare the last couple decades to how things have gone. Like, how influential technology and the internet has become on our lives. Like so many people, if you took away their phones, they would shut down. Like they can't even imagine life without a cell phone or the internet. And really, these technologies have only been around 15, 20, 25 years. So it's crazy. Like a very small fraction of a lifetime, things have changed dramatically. So, and it's accelerating, right? Like technological advancement, it's all accelerating. So who knows in 10 years where things will be. It's crazy. Imic, I don't have an iPhone, so I don't know. I am the same. I'm part of the Android club. Got a Pixel. I had the very first Android phone that came out. In Canada, it was called the HTC Dream. I forget what it was called in the US. The G1. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, this was the very first Android phone. I had this phone. It was cool. It was... Is there another picture of it with like it's shut? No. But yeah, it was had a touchscreen, but it flipped open and had the full keyboard. So yeah, I got this phone and I've had nothing but Android phones ever since. I've never had an iPhone. I understand the market for iPhones. I understand they are good for some people. Like it's crazy to me, like the Android versus iPhone like war, and it's crazy to me too, like what it's done to people's like perception. Like the fact that like if you're like a teenager or something, right? Like if you have an Android phone, you're viewed as poor. Like that's just insane to me. Even though an iPhone and a higher end Android phone, they're the same price. Like there's no difference. Like God forbid you have like the blue bubble or the green bubble or whatever it's called, right? Like you're poor. Like I am so glad I am nowhere near high school age. I can't imagine going through high school in this day and age. Like the stupid shit kids have to put up with, and just social media. Like how easy it is for kids to be like bullied through social media and stuff like that. Man, I can't imagine. I feel bad for kids, younger kids. My first smartphone was the HTC Wildfire S. Let's take a look. I don't recognize this phone. Oh, it was US. Oh, I don't recognize this phone. Isn't it so funny looking at this stuff? Like I said, Imic this was Imic's first smartphone. This was my first smartphone. Like imagine giving a kid nowadays one of these phones, they would look at you in disgust. Also, emoticon, instant gratification through technology, horrible thing overall, but so easily digestible. And part of it too is like they've got this shit down to like a science. Like think of TikTok, right? Think of all the data and the analysis. Like they've literally worked addiction down to a science. Like TikTok knows exactly how to keep people scrolling. It knows exactly how to suck people in. Like it's actually insane. Like there's so many things they do because like it works. Like obviously, right? That's why they're so successful. Also, Axel, funny you're talking about phones now. I was going through my old stuff and found my first Android phone. Nice. Which one did you have? Also, Metavat, you're only seen as poor by iPhone users who want to feel superior. And it is funny, right? Because outside of North America, you're getting a ban. Outside of North America, Androids are the norm. Like Android has the biggest market share out of all the smartphones. From my understanding, like in Europe and Asia and stuff, Android phones are the norm. But North America, it's very much iPhone dominated. So, excuse me. So this is very much a North America problem that I'm talking about. I don't think the other parts of the world are that petty. Also, Emic, these bots piss me off. I haven't forgotten about your mod suggestion. I'll have to when I'm on vacation this week and I got nothing else to do at some point, we'll talk. I've been so busy. I think I mentioned it earlier, but my girlfriend and I are house hunting right now, trying to buy our first house, and it's been a little stressful and there's been a lot of moving parts, a lot of stuff going on, and my mind's just all over the place. But yeah, I haven't forgotten. Don't worry. Also, Tin, everyone knows it's not socially acceptable to watch YouTube or listen to music without headphones in public, but for some reason, TikToks are fine. They'll watch the most insane stuff in the middle of the bus with no shame. You know what's funny is since I started working from home, I haven't really taken the bus much. I haven't ridden the bus in our city in a year and a half, at least a year. So I don't know how much worse it's gotten because I know what you're talking about for sure. Imic, I'm also looking for an apartment because of school. Oh, nice. You talked about school earlier. Did you say you just graduated? So like you finished school and now you're looking for an apartment? Like, did you live on campus? Is that what happened? Also, Hugh, I cannot function without the internet because society revolves around the internet. College classes pretty much all say you need internet for this class. If you don't, too bad. So I will say another complaint. Let me change tabs. Let's look at something better. Look at Daniel Day Kim. One thing I do not like about the internet and how much has taken over everyone's lives is how you're expected to be available 24/7. And, both like socially, like if a friend or a family member reaches out to you, I feel like it's expected for you to be available and reply like instantly, no matter what you're doing. Work, is that way. Depending on your job, you're expected to be available at all hours of the day. And I don't like that. I don't like how it's very hard to disconnect because there's like this expectation that you're always available. Also, Tin, everyone's got Androids in Europe except for the UK. The UK is a lot like the US. All right. Lots of tangents today, but I like it. So yeah, this card, crazy. Way better than Freezing Trap. We got another one here. Some bomb card, it looks like. Walking Mine. 1 mana, 2/1. Death Rattle, shovel a bomb into your opponent's deck. So I'm a hypocrite because I think Bomb Warrior is a fun, cool deck, but I think Plague Death Knight is awful. And they're so similar. Like, I understand I'm a hypocrite. But I don't know. I think it's just 'cause I like Warrior as a class more. I think bombs are more explosive, haha. But I don't know. I like Bomb Warrior. I don't like Plague Death Knight, but they're very similar. So I'm all for Bomb Warrior support. I think it's a fun deck. Also, Immic, I used to travel around 60 kilometers to school each week. Damn. But since I'm starting a new semester for engineering degree, the higher one after bachelor's, I have to travel to multiple times per week. So it'd be better to just stay in the city where my university is. Oh, so you'd go home in the weekends and then go... I'm assuming you'd like go to school on Monday and just stay there for the week. Is that what happened? Helia single-handedly makes Plague DK so much more unfun to play against. That might be the problem, right? If there was a card that made your bombs unending, I would probably not like it as much as I do. But yeah, Helia being kind of like a one-card win condition against grindy control decks, which I like, that is part of the problem. Also, that's how it works in Mick. Oh, okay. Yeah, apartment hunting, house hunting, it could be stressful. So I feel for you there. Also got one more from Leo. Tournament Drake. 3 mana, 3/3 Paladin minion. Divine Shield, Inspire. Ooh, Inspire. Cool. Give all dragons in your hand +1/+1. So I think the way to make Inspire not shit is what they've done. They with Caverns of Time, I think it was, they tweaked a bunch of the old Inspire cards. And basically, they changed them to be, not all of them, like this one just says Inspire still, but they changed a bunch of them to say Battlecry and Inspire. I think that's how you make Inspire a good keyword, is basically make it a repeatable Battlecry. So Spawn of Shadows is Battlecry and Inspire. Confessor Paletress is now Battlecry and Inspire. Thunderbluff. Those are the only ones they changed. Why, I don't know why they just didn't change all of them. Like, they wouldn't be overpowered by any means. But like, to me, that's the way to go with Inspire. Make it a reusable Battlecry effect. Dragon's Bane was played. Oh, wait, that's essentially Inspire, right? That's the Hunter one that deals 5 damage, right? Yeah, it's funny how it is basically Inspire. There's another example, right? Sometimes they reuse keywords, but don't reuse keywords. But this card was played, yeah. So yeah, I like this effect. I like bringing Inspire back, but I think the way to do it is have it as Battlecry and Inspire. Hopefully they'll do it one day. We'll have to see. And then, what else do we got here? Oh, Leo's got some more cards. Got a warrior card. Incite. 2 mana, give a damage friendly minion and your hero +2 attack and Wind Fury this turn. So the only thing I'm going to say about this card that's kind of like a nitpick is I feel like Wind Fury isn't like a warrior keyword. Like, I think the flavor's kind of cool, right? Like this like enrage effect where they attack multiple times. But in terms of like a warrior card, I don't know. What do you guys think? Metavat, either add it to a battle cry or make it strong enough. Yeah, I feel like if an Inspire effect doesn't have the battle cry effect, it needs to be really strong. because it pretty much is adding like 2 mana to the cost, right? Like something like this, if you just play it on 4, it does nothing. So you almost think about it like a 6 mana card, which is not good. Also, Emoticon, Plague, and Bomb Warrior are similar in principle, but they don't feel the same. Bomb Warrior only does a few big blasts. Plagues feel like spiteful pecks. Also, I think the Plagues mess with the... I don't like the fact that Plagues mess with your costs. Yeah, Frost Plague is like by far the biggest offender. Like, how many times have you guys top decked the Frost Plague on like turn 3 or turn 4 and it just totally messes up your curve? Always feels bad. And it says if 1/3 of your bombs were better than the other 2/3, I think it'd be annoying too. Yeah, exactly. Blood and Unholy Plague aren't even that good. Like, not even like that bad. But Frost Plague is so much better than the other 2. Also, I'm sure Warrior has Wind Fury cards. Does it? No. There's no Warrior Wind Fury cards. Wait, what? Is that it? Neutrals, Shaman, and a couple Paladin? Huh. I didn't realize that it was so like exclusive. So yeah, I think the idea, I think the flavor is really, really cool. Like I said, basically like enraging this minion and it like goes berserk and attacks multiple times. Like the flavor and theme are for sure great. It just, yeah, in terms of like the warrior, what warriors do. Also, imagine this with Odin. Imagine just giving 2 mana, give yourself Wind Fury with Odin. Leo, it's designed after the Enrage Worgen OTK deck that was only played in Warrior. Yeah, I remember that card. Didn't they change it so it doesn't even say Enrage anymore, right? Did they get rid of all Enrage? That's funny. Yeah, I know which Worgen you're talking about. This guy, yeah. I forgot they got rid of the Enrage keyword. Eustachio, sorry if I said your name wrong, but thank you for doing this live. I always watch your videos. Yeah, I'll have to do this again. I think I love doing custom card stuff, and a few weeks ago, one of my viewers randomly sent me some cards and said like, hey, could you check out these cards live? And it was a lot of fun. So that's why I thought I'd dedicate a whole stream to it, and it's cool. So that the channel on the Discord, I'm just gonna leave it up. And you guys can keep posting stuff there, and maybe every couple of weeks I will do a video where I just catch up and check out the cards you guys have posted there. How many more cards do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Can we speed run through them? We have one more from Leo. Dual class Warrior and Paladin. 3 mana, call for battle. Minions can only attack enemy minions last 2 turns. That's kind of cool. It's almost like giving you and your opponent stealth for 2 turns, but for like minions specifically. I like it. I would love this card in like a slow control warrior deck. Like obviously spells can still target you. Also Enrage is still on classic cards. They show up here. I know in the client, there's like a specific classic. Oh yeah. See, so stupid, man. The fact that you can even own like multiple copies of some of these cards is so dumb. But no rant. We've got to speed through these cards. Call for battle is broken. Yeah, this is kind of like Rogue has that one spell to give their hero stealth for a turn. It's kind of like that, but for 2 turns. It is very strong. Like I said, I would love this card in a slow control warrior deck. Like against a lot of different decks that basically say like don't die for 2 turns for 3 mana. So yeah, cool card. Maybe a little strong. What else we got here? Oh, Leo's got some more cards. Ooh, Leo, you like your dual class cards, eh? We got a dual class Rogue and Priest card, 2 mana, Dwindling Powers. Discover a minion from your opponent's deck, add a miniature copy of it to your hand. That's cool. So is it basically saying discover a minion from your opponent's deck and you get a 1 mana 1/1 copy of it? That could be really strong. Hitting certain things, getting a 1 mana copy. I like it. I like the miniature mechanic, like overall. I almost wonder if 2 mana is too strong. I guess it depends, right? There's some things you can hit with this where it would be insane, and there's some things you could hit where it's just not great. Also, seems like more of just a priest card versus a dual class card. But I'm all for more dual class cards. Also, emoticon, I like the old Warlock Soul Fragments, but in reverse, as in your opponent's deck instead of yours. Yeah, Soul Fragments were a cool little like sub-mechanic. I do miss those cards. Also, I actually would love a Blood Plague theme. The idea of adding Blood Plagues to your opponent's deck is a novel way of getting your health back over the course of the game. Yeah, I like the Soul Fragments. Yeah, that was a cool mechanic. Yeah, I like this. It's almost like Puppet Theater, actually, now that I think about it. It's basically Puppet Theater, but instead of copying something on the board, it's copying something from their deck. I just realized that. And Puppet Theater is really, really good. So I think this card would be played 100%. This would be potentially more polarizing than Mind Games in Classic. Mind Games is fun. All right, another card from Leo. Herald of Thunder. Zoom this in a bit. 5 mana, 3/4, Shaman minion, spell damage +1, Battle Cry and Death Rattle. Add a Lightning Bolt to your hand. I feel like for 5 mana, it's not like too strong or anything, right? Immic agrees. Soul Fragments were cool. Yeah, sometimes they do some really cool like sub mechanics and sets like that. And yeah, Soul Fragments were a cool one. Leo, it can get pretty scary if Rogue Shadow Steps the reduced card. Although, for what it's worth, right? If you played the 1 mana 1/1 copy and you Shadow Stepped it, it would be the normal version back in your hand. Like, say like you copied something with Puppet Theater, right? You play the minion, if you bounce it back to your hand, it'd just be the normal version, right? It wouldn't still be like a 1 mana or a 0 mana version. But yeah, cool, simple card. I've talked about it before, right? But some custom cards that people do are just like batshit insane. Like people come up with like insanely complex like ideas and new rules and new mechanics. And those cards are cool, don't get me wrong. But other times people make cards like this that are just very simple and clean and like look like they could be in the game. And I like both. I like having like a balance of both. And this is the one that I could just see in the game. It's a very simple, clean design. Leo says, don't know, but you might be right. I feel like Immic could confirm. Immic is like the Hearthstone referee, the Hearthstone fact checker. Leo got a shaman spell here. Oh, zoom out. Sudden Weather Change, 3 mana spell. Discover 2 spells with random spell schools that cost 3 or less. Combine them. That's cool. I do like the whole spell school archetypes. And I like the effect of like combining stuff, right? Immic said, what should I confirm? So if you were to copy a minion with Puppet Theater, right? You get the 1 mana 1/1 copy. You play it. If you Shadow Step it, it goes back to your hand as like the full version, right? Medevac, can I quickly show you possibly the most batshit crazy card I ever made? Yeah, for sure. But yeah, this is a very simple effect. I think combining effects cool. Immic says, yeah, it'd be the full version. Okay. So actually, so what I'm going to do, I have 2 more cards, and then there is a couple more cards, but they were posted today. Well, actually, Immic posted a couple. I have to take a look at Immic's cards. All right, it's got 2 more from Leo, and then we got a couple cards from Immic, it looks like. Drakari Battle Tamer, 3 mana 3/3, Death Rattle, add a random beast from other class to your hand. I like it. It seems very Hunter-esque. How many beasts are there from other classes, though? Let's check standard, out of curiosity. So Death Knight has 3. Demon Hunter has 2. Druid has a few. Mage has 1. Oh, I feel like there's enough class variety to make this interesting. Yeah, I like it. Oh, I'm gonna butcher this name. Barba View? Someone help me out here. Leo, help me out. 4 mana warrior spell. Choose a friendly minion. It gets death rattle. Recruit a minion with less attack than this minion. I think recruit was a fun keyword. It wasn't, for the most part, recruit was a pretty shitty keyword. Like, there is some outliers. There was some recruit cards that were decent, and there's one specifically that's still played to this day. But for the most part, it didn't pan out that well, but it was cool. I like the idea of recruit a lot. And I feel like you can combo this so many different ways, right? Yeah, I like it. 4 mana might be a little too expensive, but I like it. Also, Mimic, mine are probably bad. I just like simple cards. All right, well, we'll take a look here. It looks like... All right. Oh, I saw you post this on Twitter. I was like, why do I recognize this card? So we got a 1 mana 2/1 Blackwing Whelp. Battlecry, get a 2/2 weapon. Very strong card. Like, obviously, a 1 mana 2/1 is fine. Got the dragon tag. A 2/2 weapon is very, very strong on turn 1. I like this would be like an easy dragon deck staple, right? Also, Leo, it's a mix of barbecue and rendezvous. Okay. Oh, it's pronounced Vo. Sorry. Let me look at the card again. Barbie Vo? Barbavo? God. See, this is why I like I said, this is going to be a rough live. I would spend, if I was recording a video and doing this, I would have had so many takes. I would be Googling how to pronounce this. Sometimes that happens. I will do sometimes custom cards in my video where I have to Google how to pronounce the word because I don't know. And then I'll have like 5 takes of me butchering it. So you guys get a little bit behind the scenes here. Also, Emoticon, if it actually makes a miniature, it shouldn't come back as the original. It would be like a mini, like its own card. That is true, actually, right? If it made a different, like its own version of the card, you are right that it would bounce as the miniature. Hugh said it seems surprisingly strong for a 1-drop. Yeah, I think this is like an insane 1-drop, I think. Like auto-include, not even a dragon deck. Like, just a 1 mana 2/2 weapon on a 2/1 body seems very good. Emoticon, if he wants it to bounce back to hand and reset, it shouldn't use the word miniature. It should say summon or get a 1 mana 1/1 copy. Tin says, come on, you're Canadian, aren't you? You must know some French. Yes. So in Canada, you take French classes all through grade school. And then in high school, at least if you go to public school, because there's public school or Catholic school. I went to public school, but at least in public school, you have to take French in your first year, so grade 9, but then after that, it's not required. So I took French through grade school, I took French grade 9, and I've never taken a bit of French after that. And I remember like a handful of words. I was never great at French to begin with. But yeah. Some people, actually, there is schools where you do like bilingual, like you do both languages through it, but I didn't go through that. So I am a disgrace to my French Canadian heritage. But yeah, this card's good, Imic. You sold yourself short, that's for sure. Then we got one more from Imic. Swamp Gill. 3 mana 1/1 legendary neutral. Battlecry, summon 2 Murlocs from your deck that cost 3 or less. Yeah, seems solid. Although you are right, Imic, where you said I like simple cards. these two cards are very much simple, but I don't mean that in a bad way. You know, like I said, right? Sometimes people do wacky cards, like apparently Metavat. Yeah, so we're going to look at a card here that Metavat said it says most batshit card ever. And that's fine, right? Sometimes wacky cards are fun. Sometimes simple cards are fun. I like simple cards like this, though, because I can imagine them in the game. Like, I'm sure Metavat's card, it might be a little hard if they hyped it up enough. It might be hard to imagine in the game, but something like this, right? Like these two cards, you can just picture in the game. And I feel like it makes them easier to evaluate when you can really imagine them in the game. But the crazier cards, they're fun, but they're harder to picture in the game. Also, we got Chaos here. Oh, so Chaos, I reviewed this card. I reviewed this card in one of my custom Hearthstone videos, and it looks like they tweaked it. Yeah, so they tweaked the card since my video. If I remember right, actually, let me just bring it up. I think this was my last custom Hearthstone. Yep. So here, let's compare. So this was the original. Frostscorn, 4 mana, 1 blood, 1 frost. Your hero steals 3 life from all frozen enemies. I thought this was a really cool card. I think it really encompasses both blood and frost, but I thought it was a little bit too expensive. I didn't think it needed to be a legendary card. I thought it was a little expensive at 4, but like I said, cool idea. So it looks like they tweaked it a bit. So it's now 3 mana and it's 2 frost, 1 blood. And it says freeze all enemies. Your hero steals 5 health from any that were already frozen. That's cool. I feel like to maybe make the wording a little more clear, it would probably say your hero steals 5 health from any frozen minions and then freeze all enemies. That would probably be less clunky wording. But it's a cool idea. So it's a little, has a higher rune restriction, a little cheaper, but a little bit stronger of effect. I like it. The Whelp isn't OP in the slightest, in my opinion. Yeah, I don't think the Whelp is overpowered per se, but it's very, very strong. Very, very good. Yeah, this card's cool. I like this a lot. I think I've said it before, right? But I think Death Knight has so much like potential design space that's untapped. I feel like Blizzard is being very reserved with Death Knight. Like, I feel like there's so much cool shit they could do with Death Knight and they're just scared. And this is like a perfect example. Imik, it adds the weapon to your hand. By the way, it doesn't equip it. Oh, I missed that part. Okay. It's still a good card. If this was 1 mana, 2/1, equip a 2/2 weapon, that, like I said, it would have been insane, right? It's still good. I think it's still a good card. But it's a little less insane now. I feel like you're misreading it. Yeah, Metavat, you were right. I did misread it. I think it's because that they did the whole like get keyword. You know, normally before it would say like add a 2/2 weapon to your hand. And I think because it was so short, my brain was just interpreting it as equip. Yeah. Like get makes sense. That them upgrading the text to get versus add to your hand, it makes sense. But yeah, that's why I screwed it up, I think. Also, Tind, I had to study Latin grades 7 to 12. That's interesting to start it so late. Because in Canada, we start French in grade 3 or grade 4, I think. Something like that. Also, Chaos, exactly. I'm the maker of that card. I did tweak it. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I really like this tweak. Chaos, exactly why I'm almost exclusively making Death Knight cards. It has so much potential. Yeah, honestly, I think almost every single one of my custom Hearthstone videos, maybe all of them, has included at least one Death Knight card, because I feel like every time I scroll through the subreddit, there's always really cool Death Knight cards. And I think it just boils down to the fact that Death Knight hasn't been around that long, right? the majority of the classes have been out for 10 years now. People have been coming up with ideas for these classes for 10 years. So it's very much like drawn out. Like it's like everything that's been thought of probably has been thought of, right? But Death Knight has only been out for a year and a half or whatever. So much less time. So there's still so many cool ideas to think of. I feel like the rune system opens up a lot of opportunities for cool ideas. So yeah, I can't help but pick good Death Knight cards every video because there always is cool Death Knight cards. And this one's a good example. Emoticon said this should be classed, or the weapon should be a 2-1, I think. A 2-1 kind of would have make sense, right? To fit to equal like the minion. I wonder if it was a 2-1, but you equip it right away instead. I don't know. I don't design cards. I just review them. Oh, Emoticon says I thought it said equip. Yeah, I made the mistake too. So we're on the same page here. Imix says, and they print bad Death Knight cards. I think that's why the custom Death Knight cards interest me so much too. Is Blizzard keeps releasing so many shitty Death Knight cards. Like I said, I feel like they're scared of making interesting Death Knight cards. And I've been so disappointed with Death Knight since it's been released. And I feel like it makes, I don't know, it makes me feel so good when I see cards like this, right? It's like, it's a nice like what if. But yeah, then I go back to reality and I see the shitty cards that they actually released for Death Knight. What can you do? All right, Menavat. This is Menavat's most busted card, I think they said. I read the start of it. Valisa the Time Hidden. 1 mana 2/2 legendary Demon Hunter minion. Battle cry. Go into an alternate timeline where you played this on turn 1. That's funny. Imagine it's like turn 8 or something, and you play this and your opponent just dies. Like it would have won you the game playing this on turn 1. That's funny. Like, obviously, this would never be printed in the game, right? This is an example of what I was talking about. People make cards like this, which they're cool, but it would never be seen in the game. But it's cool to imagine it to see. So I'll give you that. And we got one more. Chaos just posted this card. Getting in by the skin of your teeth. And it's a Death Knight one. We got Death Tyrant. Oh, you guys are killing me over here. Death Tyrant. Is it just Xanthrax? Xanthrax? I don't know. 7 mana, 7/7 legendary Death Knight minion. Lifesteal Taunt Reborn. Battlecry if your deck started with no duplicates. Discover a legendary triple rune card from the past. That's cool. How many is there again? Because I thought there was only 1 per rune. But I'm pretty sure Frost has 2? Or am I remembering wrong? Is there a filter here? Oh, there's no rune filter. Is there 1 triple rune card per rune? Did I see Frost had 2? Am I remembering wrong? Because there's the 5 damage freeze one. Got Vampiric Blood for blood. Wait, there is... Or is it because they changed some of the runes? Because wasn't Mograine a triple blood card too? Is Mograine still triple blood? Oh, it is. Oh, so each have 2. Vampiric Blood and Mograine for blood. Frostworm's Fury. There's another Frost one? Oh, yeah, Lady Death Whisper. Okay, so there's 2. Okay, so it looks like each rune combo has 2 options. So I like it. I think this is really cool because the Lifesteal, Taunt, and Reborn are kind of like representations of the different runes. And then obviously I like Highlander decks. I think Highlander payoffs are cool. And then discover. So you discover one of those triple rune cards. So 1 and 6. I like it a lot. I like Highlander. I like Death Knight. I like triple rune cards. You're checking all the boxes. Oh, I misread this card, Chaos. So yeah, it's saying discover a legendary triple rune card. So you would discover between what? Lady Death Whisper, Mograine, and was it Marrow-Gnaw? Oh, okay. So you would discover one of those. That's cool. I feel like they're all fitting for different situations too, right? So it might not always be like the same one you pick, right? I like it. Yeah, Leo. Yeah, I can't read. It only discovers legendary. Metavat, from now on, my mission is to name my legendaries as unpronounceably as possible. Like I said, I wish you guys could see behind the scenes sometimes where I literally have to Google how to say some cards, and I have multiple takes sometimes to pronounce some cards. So you guys got to peek behind the curtain today. But I think that will be it. So like I said, I will leave this channel open on the Discord and just post cards there if you guys want. Even if you've never designed Hearthstone cards, like I said, it's very, very simple. I'll show you the website again really quick. Where did I post it? So to make a custom Hearthstone card, this is it. If you want to make a minion, you literally just type in the name, say it's a 6 cost, it's a 2/2, whatever text you want, it's a rare. Like that's it. It's super, super simple. So I'll leave the channel open on the Discord. You guys can post cards there through over time, and maybe in a couple weeks after they've built back up a bit, I'll do another one of these videos because it's really fun. I like just, we didn't play any Hearthstone today. I like sometimes I want to do some of these like switch up streams, right, where we just chill and talk. So reviewing custom Hearthstone cards, we talked about Android phones, we talked about Lost, we talked about some other stuff. It was a lot of fun. So hope you guys enjoyed. Like I said, keep submitting cards. I'll take a look in a couple weeks again. Reminder, this will be the only stream this week, unfortunately. I will be on vacation and out of town Wednesday and Thursday, but I will keep posting videos on YouTube. So throughout the course of the week, I'll have some videos coming out this week. So you'll still get... your fix that way as well. But other than that, I will be back next week as normal, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. And yeah, like I'll keep in touch on Discord. I'll keep in touch with you guys. We can chit chat. But other than that, like I said, thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this stream. It was different than my usual streams, but I had a lot of fun, and we'll do some more like this in the future. But other than that, hope you guys have a good week. Hope you have a good weekend. I will see you all next week, and thanks for watching. Take care, everyone.